Good. I think I got it this far. Let me still check one or two things. Because the microphone is always like a questionable device sometimes. One or two things. Because the microphone is always like a questionable device sometimes. One or two things. Good, fair enough. It is what it is. It seems to be good. Today, for everyone who's wondering why am I playing, I just don't feel like it. I hope I'm gonna spark some discussions about the entire, well, just some videos to react to. All in all, what are we having here? 6. Some political, some games, some normal. It is what it is. Just step by step. But let's start with Sargon. What is New Zealand doing? And I was actually thinking about going to New Zealand, or as we in Germany say, umziehen. So yes, I would be a freaking immigrant, or a Polish guy that immigrated to Germany, that immigrated to New Zealand. So you can imagine how that feels, Lichy. But it is what it is. Let's just start. Let's see. Johan Palace. People of Europe announced are heading towards minority in New Zealand. The full demography is a lagging industry. The industry, the property among the new British, the already less than... Okay.
I think that there are people in the world who need to start thinking about what the world they live in is going to be like when the Europeans do become the minority.
Yeah, no, they don't give a fuck. It's their little nice feelings will be hurt, or otherwise, or something like that. And then they just go around and they're like, I don't want them to suffer. Yeah, I don't care. I'm gonna be honest, like, your ancestor built up a country for you to be good to live in. And you're just ignoring their sweat and blood for nothing, so just...
I mean, it's not enough for us. We have to think about why are we doing this? Why are we allowing this? Well, there are other people in other places who are going to have to think about this too. So it's worth them actually starting to think ahead. And one of those people are the Maori in New Zealand, because like everywhere else, the people of the West have decided, you know what we need to do is just commit suicide. I think we've had enough. We're going to expire now. We're tired. We've tried to fix the world, and it seems that a lot of it is beyond fixing.
Yes.
And so we've just given up.
Yes.
And so this is...
And by the way, good. It's not Germany's problem that somewhere else in freaking Africa they are starving there. Sorry, not my problem. It's just build a better country. Simple as that. Yeah, I was here when it was good, and I'm still building up this country with the others. I'm also building up the Polish country. Gonna maybe go back, maybe to New Zealand, who knows. But, hey, and if you're in a new country and building up, or going around and doing, then don't destroy it, for fuck's sake.
Of course, very similar to here, although worse, it seems. People of... The proportion of the population of European ancestry only is now down to 55.9% according to the last census. So about 56% of the population in 2023. There's about 5 million people there, so New Zealand's quite a small place overall. Land mass-wise, it's the size of Britain, but population-wise, about a tenth of it was less than a tenth of our size. The demographic situation there is quite concerning, obviously for the English descended population, but also for the Maori population, because like the English and the Maori in New Zealand have a settlement together, right? They have an understanding, or they had an understanding together, based on historic events and a certain kind of moral code that the English and British more broadly brought with them. And this was one of consideration. This was one of, we accept that you are the minority here, and we have made you the minority here, and so we will have treaties with you. We will give you a special space in Parliament. We will give you special consideration with the rest of the civilization, so that you continue to exist as the Maori.
Yeah, the thing is, that's the problem. That's already the big problem. No freaking extras, no extra work, nothing. Either they come in and live in the country they are and live as the people that are there, or just get the fuck out. This extra treatment of minorities, like this luxury treatment of those, of everybody that comes in, is just disgusting. It's fully disgusting. And I am speaking as a minority here, okay? Okay, maybe the same color of the skin as the others, but the rest, I am a minority. And I literally, if I see that somebody else comes in that gets treated better than the freaking people that lived here, worked their entire lives, and just lost everything, yeah, it just disgusts me.
Because that was something that actually the British, for all of our faults, did not have a fault in, and that's a deliberate attempt to get rid of the existing people there.
Exactly.
We rocked up, we created our cities, we made states, but we weren't intent on getting rid of the people who already lived there. In fact, we laboured under the delusion that, well, they can just come and join us, can't they? Everything will be hunky-dory, won't it? So I don't know, is everything hunky-dory? Does everyone feel that everything's gone hunky-dory? But anyway, according to the data tool for New Zealand, 2,790,000 New Zealanders are European only out of the 5 million, so 55.9%. This is, of course, down from 59% in 2018, 61% in 2013. And you might think, okay, well, they've obviously got a large Maori population. Well, no, not really, actually. The Maori only was 7.3%, and the mixed European and Maori population was only 8%. So if we say 16% are Maori, again, not entirely, but, you know, can be considered like non-European, even though they are partially European, but whatever.
Yeah, nonetheless, it's just so freaking... It's just too many. I just hate it. And by the way, sorry, John, good morning. I mean, it's night here, so that's why I was a bit confused. There was a hit of confusion here, but right now, oi.
The you know, if we just lump those together, 16% of the population is not that high. And if it were just...
No, 16 isn't that
Europeans at 84%, Maori at 16%, well, you would have a fairly stable society that would have
I agree with
the
him,
kind
by the
of
way.
rules that the British are known to put in place, and a kind of understanding of fairness. So the Maoris themselves would have a sort of persistent kind of honour in the society. But of course, things are changing. You have large numbers of...
No, I will repeat it again. No, no extrawürste. Just freaking treat them as everybody else. Just, if they work for their stuff, then good. If not, then get the fuck out. And well, I'm also pleasant because of the snow. Ooh, it snows. Good. I see you're talking about some bullshit Carl found, eh? Carl? You mean Sargon? I don't know.
Asians and Chinese.
I don't know how Sargon, what Sargon's name is in real life. Just don't care. But I mean, yeah, it's basically some bullshit. What Sargon found, and it was basically because of New Zealand. Because I actually was thinking about immigrating there because I'm interested in it. That's why. Actually, I was like, why not? And we have a few videos in front of us, so be prepared.
He's moving to New Zealand now. And you have various other ethnic groups from all around the world moving in. And you've got to ask yourself, are they going to be as considerate of the Maori as the British were? Are they going to consider that they have an obligation to this indigenous ethnic group in New Zealand? And I suspect the answer is probably no. I mean, the immigration into New Zealand has been quite wild, actually. So in 2022, they had 154,000 new immigrants. Now, for a population of 5 million, that's a massive figure.
Yes.
That is a massive, massive figure. India, the Philippines, and China were the top 3 nationalities of the newcomers.
I mean, I know New Zealand has a low population. That's why they always get new people in. But, don't overdo it. Might as well learn about the changes in the places you're intending to go to, right? Exactly, yes. If they are positive or negative. You are correct.
Do they care about the Maori? I mean, we can't get the white Europeans, the British in New Zealand, to care about themselves, right? We can't get them to be like, look, you have to struggle on with your exhausted civilization for your own good and for your children's good. They're like, well, I can just not have children. Okay, but what about for the Maoris' good? Is it good for them that you're doing this? I'm not sure it's going to be good for them. If Indians or Chinese people become the most largest demographic in the country, is that going to help the Maori? Are they going to honour the settlement between...
Oh, the New Zealanders are called Mary. Oh, for F's sake, I just understood it. Them, a brain fuck as it is. No, yes, it's not. They are... I mean, I would say that the amount they actually took in, it's still in a way of you could assimilate it in their culture, but it's gonna be hard. It's gonna be very hard, especially if they're so like the difference between those cultures. I mean, Indian, China, it's high. It will be a hard fight, but it's not impossible as it looks right now. But still a red flag, in my opinion. Something tells me those newcomers will not be kind to the indigenous Maori people. It depends. I'm gonna say it like this. And I'm speaking as a Polish Lich. You could literally bring in half of the freaking people of different countries that are aggressive, you know who I mean, and Polish people will just start to, let's just say, decimate their numbers. You know, a few holes will be dug, a few wells will be created, and, you know, until it stops. So yeah, there's that. Maybe the Mao people are the same. But who knows? I don't know.
In the Brits and the Maori? Are they going to do that? I'm not sure they are.
Let's hope.
The numbers, though, are just staggering, right? 10 new arrivals per 1,000 population from 2015 to 2024. That is so large.
Oh, no.
So large. And
yeah, this is large.
This,
this isn't going to end well. Oh, yeah.
Knock-on effects.
No.
You can see that the most common family names become Singh and Cower and Smith at the very bottom there. The top three. Very
fertile after that.
Violent crime, for some reason, has gone through the roof. You create an island of strangers, or two islands of strangers. You end up making a civilization that is more dangerous.
I like your thinking. You're thinking practical. You know, always look at the positive side of things. And fertile fields are definitively one of the more positive things that could come out of this one.
Some of these numbers are quite wild, to be honest. Like total victimizations. 373,000. Oh, that's down slightly from 381,000. Amazing. There are a lot of assaults, man. Like 54,000 assaults. In fact, there's the total number is around here somewhere. It was just ridiculous. 51% increase in violent crime between 2018 and 2023.
Oh no, that's
51% increase. Whoa. That's just crazy.
Yeah, I'm not going there.
That is crazy.
Nah.
And I don't know why that would be tolerated. Like, it's just mad.
I know why it's tolerated. I know exactly why it's tolerated. And we need to get rid of those who tolerate it. Ugh.
I thought they would have had a total of assaults. But, I mean, that's hundreds of... 373,000. It just seems like an awful lot to me. Maybe it's totally within the realm of tolerance for New Zealanders. Here's more about the violent crime, because this is one of the main problems. In fact, it was here. We go. So, yeah, there were 20,000 fewer victims of assault. That's good.
The variety would keep eating everything.
185,000 to 165,000.
And bacon tastes good, I agree. That's very good, even.
That's a lot, though, isn't it? Again, you've only got 5 million people. You've got 165,000 victims. Figures of violent crime, 215,000 violent crimes.
Oh,
Jesus,
forever.
man.
Yeah, I'm definitely not going
That's
there.
a bellicose
Nope.
civilization
Nope.
that you are
Nope.
cultivating there.
Nope.
Like, this is surely
Nope.
just natives and the Maori, right? They're just really aggressive to each other. Anyway, who knows?
Yep.
Who knows?
Yikes.
I mean, may well be that that's the case. I genuinely don't know, right? I'm not from New Zealand. I don't spend all day studying New Zealand statistics. But this chap here makes a good point. Whatever the outcome of Maori nationalism, by the 2030s, New Zealand will be under an Asian majority, Indians and Chinese. So the circumstance of the white population will be doubly imperiled because this alone will destroy a demographic majority in politics. But as of yet, the only Anglosphere country without even the semblance of a nationalist right. Whites here are demoralised or have been through the grandiose cucking ritual their entire lives. So there's no will to survive in New Zealand. And even the sort of mestizo, the white and Maori blend types, tend to side with the Maori, which, okay, fair enough. I mean, I'm not, arguing yes or no or anything like that. But the Maori nationalism focuses entirely on the whites, right? And he says the white urban professional Castizo Maori, who are the mestizo and white blend, are more often found to be right-wing and in sympathy with boomer anti-Maori politics in comparison with the rural North Island coastal town brown mestizo. This gives our political situations a much more South American vibe than Australia. Our politics in our country will soon resemble Brazil and Argentina more than any other Anglo country. And so, is that good? Is it like you would think a New Zealand Nationalist Party would have room for both the Europeans and the Maori, right? Like, it seems that both of them would consider, okay, we've been here for a few hundred years, the Maori longer, but the Europeans, this time, we've got established legal frameworks and settlements that the Maori are upset that are being overturned by sort of, liberal international levelling.
Yeah, they can be upset as much as they want. If they don't do anything against it, then it's gonna look like in Germany right now. That's simply a fact of the matter. I mean, for F's sake, just look at Poland, one of the freaking safest countries in the world. And guess what they do, or don't do? Just guess 3 times, for F's sake.
Why do the Maori want the Chinese or the Indians or whoever, the Filipinos, to have any access to this society? What do they get out of that, is the question. And the answer is, well, I don't think much, actually. I mean, you've got, like, the white Europeans, Brits on New Zealand who are like, well, there's no Maori problem, there's a white people problem. Yeah. And she talks about how there wasn't significant integration, which on one hand sounds bad, but on the other hand, it allows the Maori to exist as the Maori.
Yes.
Right? Like, she says, my experiences were of white life alongside pepper-potted Maori neighbours with whom my family had little meaningful interaction. Dominated by English culture, we never interacted with the Maori. So, okay, but that allows the Maori to remain themselves, right?
Yes.
They may have, their enclave or their reservation, whatever you want to call it, but they get to be Maori, they get to be themselves.
Exactly.
Are the Chinese going to care?
No.
Are the Indians going to care? Are they going to respect this? And so when she gets to the conclusion, it's like, yeah, so there's no problem with the Maori. The problem is that the white people assuming that their culture is universal. It's like, yeah, sure, I agree. Our culture is not universal. It's parochial to us.
I'm going to be honest, I never heard anybody of the white skin color ever argued that our culture is universal. Most people that I talk to are just like, well, we have it good. The rest I don't care about. So, good culture. Point. And I mean, we're not living in a shithole. So, I think there is some truth to it.
Culture is parochial to them, and I'm happy for us to have. I think we should have some sort of relationship that understands one another. But why are the white Europeans imperiling that by importing millions of people who just aren't going to respect that? Like, in future generations, when the country is majority not European, the Europeans become like a rump of like 25% of the population, and maybe 50% of the population is like Asian or Chinese or Indian or something like that.
Yes.
And the Maori, again, like 4 or 5% because the numbers of the country have just gone up and up and up. Like, are they going to be happy with what gets voted through the parliament? Are they going to be happy? Are you going to be happy? Is this going to be like, yeah, finally, we have shedded the white guilt and we have finally accepted our true destiny, which is to become an Asian colony? Like, is that, like, who does that help?
As Sargon just said, like, who does it help? Nobody, yes. And by the way, you're also freaking correct. They are just cucked, spineless little rats that won't protect their families even if they are in danger. And that's something that I don't appreciate. For F's sake, I'm gonna be honest, if somebody looks the wrong way at my dog that I see as family, you already get death stares from everybody. Like, if it's like on my siblings or my freaking parents, there is murder in the air, no matter what. I would do literally everything to protect them, anything. So there's that. And this also just, you just then find equally minded people and then protect your families, well, as it is. But this just died. This thinking just died.
What are you fixing here? What kind of civilization are you passing on? And,
shitty one.
And the thing is, I'm not even saying it's wrong for the white people to feel like they are the stewards of Maori society and the protectors of it in a kind of paternalistic role. I'm not even saying they shouldn't feel that way, right? But aren't you, like, absconding your duties here by doing all of this? And is it really just this level of sort of genuine guilt about the civilization you imposed on the Maoris? Have you decided, yeah, we can't stand the guilt of it, so we're just going to let it die off? And good luck to the Maoris negotiating with the Chinese and the Indians.
Yeah,
I'm sure they'll be far less oppressive than the evil white man was.
By the way, I'm gonna say this: we have the best culture, or the European culture is just, or European Western culture is just one of the freaking best. It is what it is. Just look at the freaking stats. Stats don't lie. So you can look that one up. For the most part, there are of course some exceptions, but just look at the countries that are ruled with Western ideas are just way better off than the other shitholes on the world. So yeah, no one touches family. If someone does harm to another family member, and they are family, well, the ones who committed the harm aren't family anymore, at least in my eyes. Correct, yes. But for me, that's actually clear as day that it goes that way. I mean, if you harm your own family members, yeah, you're a monster, fuck you for that one. I had to cut off some family members from my part just because they fucked up gigantically with my parents. And yeah, well, they needed my help at some point. Didn't get it. Well, and a part of them won't ever get any help, if you understand what I mean. Simple as that. Yeah, to Eins Pass. I'm gonna do this one at the end. A game that hates you. Maybe the Vorletzte, the horror game that lies to you. Vorletzte, no. Alteori, I didn't do. Let's do Alteori first. Alteori, then. Clear as crystal, friend. Good. So let's get some slightly lighter thematics right now. Colors are now offensive. Did you know, John? Colors are offensive now. Blue is probably the most racist of them all.
You guys, Pantone is rage baiting us.
I honestly never thought we'd reach a point where people get triggered by colors of the rainbow. You can't make this up. And apparently, certain colors of the palette, I should say, are especially triggering to certain people.
Pantone just announced their color of the year for 2026, and it is white.
What in the pretentious? Interesting,
What
because
the
yes,
fuck?
it's white. And yes, I will say it's a type of white, but it is called Cloud Dancer. It's not like they
Why
came
they
out and
pretty
put
much
in
to
bold
brace us
letters
all.
white. It's just
What?
pure.
What? I didn't even know that. What? A match? Math, you mean math. Okay, sorry. I thought matches like the lighter things, but okay. Math as mathematique, good. Hey, it is what it is. A 6 looks pretty aggressive. And if I remember correctly, white isn't a color. It's the lack of colors. So, yeah, lack of colors is racist.
White.
Good. Fair enough.
And what is that
wait.
smile? What is going on with you? You would think
Yeah.
also, given the topic of her video, that she'd be a little more self-aware about not wearing a white t-shirt. I don't know if that was intentional,
What do you think? I said
flashing
math?
your pearly.
No, not math. A match. Wait, give me a second. I don't use those fuckers. Ansunder. I think it's Ansunder. For cigarettes, the little matches. Cigarette matches. No, for F's sake, I just cannot write it down. For F's sake, not a ziggurat. For F's sake, yeah, I struggle right now. Yeah, a match. Yeah. Yes, exactly, a match. I thought of those. But I assume that those will also be freaking racist at some point. See, there it is. This is the first clue that matches will be racist at some point. Yeah. Oi, James. Yo, you got me. Well, life is not exactly true as a lich, It's a bit bad, yeah. Life enough. I still prefer undead. Spooky.
I don't think that it's a coincidence that our word of the year was recently announced as rage bait.
That's the irony of the whole thing. While she thinks Pantone is rage baiting everyone else, she's actually rage baiting all of us into getting triggered over something as simple as a color or an amalgamation of colors.
Because in my opinion, Pantone choosing white as the color of 2026 is attention-seeking behavior and rage bait.
Bro, what is so funny?
Yes, as Altori asks. No, I know what's so funny, because she knows she's telling bullshit right now, and she knows she's rage baiting right now because of the because of a color. What the F? Oh, come on, next going to say fire arrest is yeah. I mean, remember the clan meetings and the crosses, the fire, it was definitively racist. It wouldn't have burned a white person. Never would have happened. I hope you can hear the sarcasm out of my voice, James, just saying.
The fact that you're rage baiting and you know you are?
Is white
Yeah. see, even Altori sees it. I knew it. Yes.
even a color?
Did she really just ask that? Okay, let's test the theory then. What
And it
color
was
is your
across-
shirt, ma'am?
I couldn't understand.
What do you say? What would you say the color of your shirt is? The number 657? No, it's white. You white-wearing individual. Do people not understand how...
I just wanted to point the same thing out. She's wearing white, and she thinks that this is a racist color. So, well, welcome to the club, my dear. Welcome to the club. Don't give those morals ideas. Hey, they would come to it earlier than later, so let's just give them the idea so they overwhelm them and their heads explode. I mean, it was a cross. I can't understand. Yeah. Sorry about it. It's just...
far backwards in how privileged you have to be to find something this insignificant to be triggered over?
Because
Yeah.
in my opinion,
White woman, I swear.
Pantone choosing white as the color of 20...
The white woman, yes. Instant racist white woman, ploop. We need stickers for that one. She wanted to call the woman a cracker, and I would say it as well.
26 is attention-seeking behavior and rage bait.
You have to be one of the most self-unaware people I have ever encountered in my entire life.
Oh.
Like, what is this?
Oh, I told you don't come around that often, do you? This isn't even like in the top 10 right now.
Even? Are we going to boycott looking at the clouds now? No way. She has to be trolling. This
Racist
has to be a
clouds.
troll. And an elaborate one.
The clouds only rain down when when a freaking colored person comes around. For everyone else that got out of the way so the sunshine can shine down on them. It's just...
that because there is
Racist
no way
clouds,
she's
yes, I need
serious.
that.
Like, why would that color...
Right now I just imagine a cloud being over people and just spamming the N-word downwards every second as soon as he sees somebody.
of white rage bait you? Let me guess.
The color is Cloud Dancer, and they describe it as a lofty white that serves as a symbol of calming influence in a society rediscovering the value of quiet reflection.
Oh, I have so many
Cloud
ideas,
Dancer
but I'm gonna
encourages
get some of
true
you to
relaxation and focus, allowing the
and
mind
do
to
everything I
wander
want
and
to
creativity
say
to
now.
breathe, making room for innovation. Let's celebrate whiteness in 2026.
Yeah, I think you're
Yeah.
projecting your own lens of how you see the world and possibly how you see yourself because nobody else will. I don't know. Maybe TikTok is a
Yeah,
thing.
there are some
So there are
freaks.
select few crazy people on there. But
Yes.
I don't see any normal human being walking around insisting that the color white or Cloud Dancer somehow translates to some coded message
I
about
agree with
Caucasian
that, yes.
superiority. Like, I genuinely
you
don't
make
understand
white
this line of
rice
thinking,
look more
which is why I said
colorful.
you clearly have a lot of time on your hands, or you're extremely privileged to even entertain this train of thought. Or it's possible that people who think this way could, I don't know, have some internalized racism about how they see the world, since even seeing a mere palette of color, which actually, I mean, if you
She's
look
correct,
at
yes.
what white represents in the color scheme, it is the unification or combination of all the colors of the
Oh.
spectrum. It is all
Oh, it's the combination of everything. Okay, in the color scheme. I thought it's the lack of... Was it black then? Huh. I bet she boils chicken without any spice. Hey, John, come on. Calm down now, yeah? I boil chicken without any spice too, okay? Okay? For my dogs. Black is the lack of color. Thank you, James. Then I thought it's white, not black. Ah, okay. Good, fair enough.
the colors of the rainbow. You have to be a special kind of bored and miserable individual to even draw this conclusion in the first place. Finding a tiny black dot in a sea of darkness and then getting mad that the darkness exists in a world where
She's
light is
correct,
not
damn.
even a thing.
I thought
There's
all-
so many
I thought
actual
it.
problems in the world, but this is what people choose to focus on as a means to practice their self-righteous activism. This is what we've reduced ourselves to. Instead of going out and feeding people or helping people who you probably believe are beneath you or disenfranchised, you get on here making a serious issue out of something that is literally not a problem.
Exactly,
How
yes.
nice it must be
Yes,
to have
she's
problems
correct,
nobody
yes.
else even recognizes to be problems. Imagine waking up and deciding, today I'm going to make a video about how triggered everyone should be. That one particular shade of white was named Color of the Year. Like, you really need to take inventory of your time and wonder if they're
It's I totally so on point with this one, yes. But she forgot one thing, because after that they feel morally superior to you, so you know. It is what it is.
probably isn't a better use of it. The thing is, your comments are turned off, so no one's even allowed to join in the conversation or criticize you on your own page. And the other thing it tells me is that nobody is checking the boxes that you clearly expected them to check.
Let's celebrate whiteness in 2026.
It's not a clown world, it's a clown solar system at this point. Now, the thing is, as I see it, there aren't as many of those people there as you might think. But even one under 1,000 is enough to just make the entire human race look freaking stupid. It's not that there are a lot of those freaks, or now there are, because I don't know how the fuck they done it, but they done it. But normally it's not enough to actually stomp or to be in actual danger, but because there are people who want to live in peace and just say, oh, that person will calm down, just give him time. And then the bad person actually builds up power, things and blah, 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 blah. And then shit like this happens. So what I want to say with this is we should stomp them like freaking insects. Sadly, we're not doing it because we are peace-loving people. We should change that.
It doesn't really sound
And
that
I
great.
don't mean like bodily harm, blah, blah, blah. Get them with the police, say, okay, good, you need to go into a mental institution, and then just, just think correctly, I moved into an apartment, and the wall was quite clearly, it was a racist apartment, Gust. Oh, the racist apartment. I just imagined the apartment, I don't know, like you paint it and suddenly the only paints are like how is it called, matte smileys, like sad smileys on the walls. It's like, you're not welcome. The racist apartment, the white racist apartment, yes.
Does it?
I don't know why you're laughing so freaking much. What, are you nervous about something? Like, what, are you actually serious with this video? Or is this entire thing satire?
Yeah, she can.
Now I have to ask every time because the tone is so ridiculous and you never know with social media now. Again, it's only tone deaf to you and people who absolutely have no purpose in life other than to keep themselves miserable, to feel somehow as though they're oppressed, or they want to make everyone else oppressed.
Go out,
there are things
yes.
you can bitch about. No one's saying you
On
can't.
the throat,
freedom of speech and all
little one.
that. But are we really doing this? Are we really
Hide
hunting
the
for
body
specs
afterwards.
to be offended by because life is so perfect that you have to manufacture a crisis over a freaking palette? Like,
Yep.
and considering how much white you're wearing and how much white is in your room, if you're equating the color white with Caucasianness, the irony is kind of screaming loud. It feels a little tone deaf coming from the person delivering the message, given your own caucasity.
To me, choosing white as the color of the year feels a little tone deaf. It seems a little out of touch.
May I point out? Where is it?
From the person delivering the message, given your own caucasity.
To me, choosing white as the color of the
Give me a
year
second.
feels a little...
See? A lot. In white. The next racist thing. We see a lot of racist white things in this video. Including the woman that talks. And see, Alteori, in her wisdom, is protected by a white shield. A white racist shield.
Tone deaf. It seems a little out of touch, in my opinion, and I feel like we are moving away from white in general.
I love how she delivered that with such a straight face, like she thought she actually said something profound. Look, you put this video out here publicly, so my responses are fair use, and I'm not trying to say you're a bad person or anything, because I don't know you personally.
No, then you're wrong. At this point, no, if you're not willing to tell a person like that they are a bad person, just get out of the way. I'm gonna do it for you, but we need to call those freaks out. Asian eat too much white rice, so try to fight the whitest. No. Asians are dominating the racism, the white rice racism, by eating it and proving their dominance over it, yeah? Okay, that's something different, James. Entirely different. The call is coming from inside the house. Yeah?
Pretty sure you're not a horrible person. But I seriously
That's
have
cute.
to ask, and you can respond if you choose, but what is wrong with you? Can you imagine people out there
Yes.
starving who don't know how they're going to survive the winter because they can't pay their electric bill or their heat is off or whatnot? They want to move out of a bad situation, but they have no
Exactly.
money to do so, and they're trying to save up, and they're busting their backs wide open. Ew, that sounds disgusting. But you know what I mean? Like bending it
James?
wide open. No, that's
Now
not,
you
that's not
see
good
it.
either. Whatever. They're working hard, They're really pumping iron, and everything sounds nasty. Anyways, but then imagine you being this privileged. Do you go out and help them? Do you go out and feed the homeless? Do you go and see if anyone needs help with their groceries? Or at the very least, if you're going to vent online, do you choose something that's actually entertaining?
Those earrings, white gold.
Like, complain about, like, your, I don't know, your favorite show or character you hate.
Yeah, that's why she sees the white color as racist, because, you know, it always whispers in her ears. A golden truth, a golden white truth.
Even people you hate, you know, Hollywood nonsense, people doing silly things and dumb things online, which is ironic because that's literally what I'm doing right now with your video. But good Lord,
Yep.
I know this whole thing seems like, well, why am I even talking about it, right? It's because this
it's
level
funny.
of idleness and self-importance is so vastly out there. It's so freaking out
Yep.
of left field for me personally that it actually intrigued me. Like, I was curious as to whether or not this was actually a real thing or like some running gag or troll that people were doing to try and see how many dumb people they could get to believe what they were putting down. I didn't
Yep.
actually think this was a real thing and that people were serious about this, that they looked at a palette and decided, yep, that's what we should be offended over. Color white, guys. It's bad. Your teeth, get some girls, paint them puppies black.
Yes.
You like clouds?
Oh.
Finding shapes in them, looking up at them? You better stop that right now. None of that. If it snows, you better stay inside. Put your phone in dark mode. So everyone needs to protest the color white, or more aptly, the color cloud dancer, because we need to start moving away from whiteness. So that white shirt that you're wearing, you need to be burning that. I don't even know why
Yes,
you
it's
would have
white
the
gold.
audacity to boldly
Champion
throw
white
that
woman
in
right
our
there.
face. As a matter of fact, since you're white and we need to be moving away from whiteness, why are you even making this video? Why are you showing your face?
It's simple because she thinks she's a righteous knight that goes around and fixes things, without realizing that her things are freaking just destroying lives step by step and are focusing on things that are just irrelevant right now. We have way bigger problems than the color white. Ugh. And champagne white woman. Yes, exactly. It is a champagne white woman. She just needs a hobby. That's all. Oh, look at those poor minorities betrayed your own kind to prove you're better than their peers. The earrings and hats by Sauron's the earrings and hats by Sauron's soul.
You're displacing other
shit.
black bodies or non-white faces that could be present on the platform in your stead. You could be making...
Okay, every freaking single stream I had, there was always a freaking Lord of the Ring reference in it. And I love it. Keep it up.
space for those people instead of taking it up with your own whiteness. I mean, if that's the logic that we're going by, you understand how those rules would have to apply to you as well, right? Like, can we all, like... I don't know what's going on, but is it possible for us to actually be progressives and, I don't know, progress? Like, you know, unless this is all satire and
The
you're having
virtual
fun with
saint is
this.
strong
They're
in
very
this
funny,
way.
I guess. You had me laughing at first because of how ludicrous this entire
Yes.
thing was. So if that's
Yes.
the joke of how silly people making the statement look, you know, like then you kind of achieve that. Comedy gold. Or maybe
Yep.
pathetic, depending on the perception.
We've been really reaching for these darker, moodier colors this past year, and I don't see that stopping anytime soon in 2026. I understand what they're saying when they say that this white can be combined with a bunch of other different hues, but I don't think that warrants it being chosen as the color of the year.
Why not, though? I think it's
Exactly.
a perfect example of something that we
Exactly.
should
Good
be
question.
choosing for the color of the year, being that several hues of white symbolize unity, new beginnings, equality, and purity because it contains all the colors of the spectrum. It reflects all colors of light, symbolizing the combination and balance of everything, and thus representing unity and wholeness. Its balance signifies fairness and neutrality in bringing disparate elements together. I mean, why should that not be the color that we would choose to represent the new year? Interesting, unless that's something that you don't want. And I didn't think it would need to be said, but clearly it does. But you do realize
No. It's actually simple. If you have a positive association with the color white, then you have, of course, like white people, blah blah. Then it actually gives up a it's just something positive. It is what it is, and they don't want it. I say that because there are some freaks that look at orcs, yes, and thought, yes, that's symbolic for black people. I remember that one. Yes. And no, I don't understand the compromise at all. The comparison, me neither. I don't know what the fuck savage orcs, green savage monsters have to do with black people, but hey, maybe I'm just that. Those... Wait. Those bringing balance of the color spectrum, them just coming in white 2 stars reference. Yeah. Yep, it is. Hey, put them in. I like those references.
That the palette color
love
white
them.
is not in conjunction with the actual epidermis or ethnic identifier of human beings.
Yeah.
Right?
White could technically, with that logic, be chosen every single year as the color of the year. And I feel like in the recent
with every
past,
other color
white
that's
really
not
had its
bad,
moment. So why wasn't white chosen then? Where was white in 2015 when Scandinavian design was everywhere?
I don't know. Maybe it wasn't its year. It wasn't chosen. So wait, you're okay. Am I to believe you're upset because you don't want white to be chosen for this year for whatever reason, right? If there's some kind of undertone to racism there or something, yes, that still exists every year. Racism is a thing, right? Tribalism is a thing as long as humans have been alive.
Yes.
Doesn't matter. So they did reach for the moodier, darker colors back then. I mean, they have been choosing nothing but just those other colors for the majority of their runtime or whatnot, based on what you're saying. And now the one year they decide, okay, white, here, you can have a chance to be a color and shine. Now it's a problem. But where was your outrage when they were choosing nothing but all the other colors that you like? They'd been doing the very thing that you wanted them to do for a long time. So why is it now a freaking issue? Why are we even talking? Why am I talking about it?
Where was white?
You're talking about it because it's freaking funny and unholy. And the thing is, I don't care. The entire thing, like color of the year, is just a thing so they can sell more of this specific thing. Nothing else. It's community engagement in this case. Holy flashbang. Yep. My eyes they burn. Acolytes, you are weak. You are freaking weak. Just because of one flashbang room. Come on. I expect better than that. Now go in a freaking white room. I'm sorry, in our racist white room and look into it for 3 hours. Don't come back until you're finished.
A few years ago when white marble was the material of choice. Where was white when Kim Kardashian came out with the design of her home?
The fact that this person even knows all these things tells me and screams extreme privilege.
Yep.
Which makes sense as to why that this is the topic of this video.
White, in my opinion, is passé. Not only in design and color choices, but also just with the current political climate of the world.
Of course, and it's about politics again. Fuck off.
The political climate of the world doesn't encompass whatever Manhattan City you live in. I don't know why people think that their little bubble of prestige and privilege somehow extends to the rest of the world. Honey, the rest of the world isn't sitting here in front of their camera making a YouTube video wearing a white shirt telling people that somehow we need to be offended and more sensitive to the actual color white of the spectrum. The combination of all colors are...
I mean, it's just fun to make fun of her because it's stupid as fuck. I wear black all the time. Hell, my favorite women to date are chocolate goth women. I understand. Goth women, definitively. I don't care about the skin color. But goth women, always. All fucking ways. I started being 4 day on the answer. I am far too used to it. I ran against millennial house flippers. You're excused. James, you're also excused because of the goth woman comment.
at least in light, if you want to be technical, because somehow it aligns with whiteness in terms of people's skin color. Like, someone please help me out here, because probably I'm missing something. Who the hell even thinks with this lack of logic? Like, I don't understand.
I don't think this is a time where we want to be celebrating white. At the end of the day, we need to remember that Pantone's color of the year is a marketing campaign. They want Pantone to stay at the forefront of our minds and conversations in order to maintain their status as the standard of color standardization.
What are we even doing right now? Like, are you okay?
Good question.
The political climate of the West,
she's
whether
not
you're in
okay.
Canada or in America or wherever, that doesn't translate over to the rest of the world. If you had to live somewhere in the rest of the world, most places in the world that were non-white cultures, or even white cultures aside or separate from that of the United States and the UK and Canada, you'd probably shit yourself. They're not fixated on the stupid little things that you're fixated on, like the color white or a version of it or eggshell or whatever the hell. Like, how are we even doing this right now? Staring at a color you'd use for paint or for decor and somehow twisting it into a political or racist issue. I'm sorry, I'm genuinely baffled, but apparently this is where we are. And I don't know. I can't...
I disagree with Altori on this one a bit, because the thing is that the American ways of thinking bleed over into the other parts of the world pretty consistently. And it's not just a small amount, it's to a high degree. Not everything, but a lot of those do. So it's not just entirely their, thing. But, I mean, at the end of the day, yes, we are still responsible for the things we say. A granite painted white, why would you paint granite white? What the fuck? Okay, fair enough.
This is so hilarious to me. Like, movies have nothing on this. The dumb movie Mondays that I used to do have nothing on this kind of content, because these nuggets just keep on coming.
Pantone's color of the year has been great PR for years now, but when they announced Mocha Mousse last year, that for me was a little bit of a red flag. And I talked about this in a previous video, but to me, choosing Mocha Mousse last year, when the color brown was already everywhere, to me just didn't seem like it was looking forward enough into the future. But now that they've chosen white this year, it seems like they are doing the exact opposite. Rather than choosing a color...
So the color brown was already everywhere. I don't even understand what this is even... why am I talking about this? Wouldn't that mean that the color is popular? Or do they only choose the color of the year to make it popular? I thought something of the year meant that thing was the standout popular thing of that year. Or that's just a color they were choosing because they liked it, or it was popular, or that's just what they wanted. But now they did the complete opposite of what you didn't like, and it's still a problem.
Color that everyone likes, and that is a crowd pleaser. I think that they've gone for a color that will start conversations, but maybe not for the right reasons.
Why would they, okay, you don't go into business. You're not good. They're obviously choosing things that to stand. You're conflicting. Everything that you say is conflicting with something you just said before. Let me see if I can put my head on, because I feel like my brain's dying right now. So you didn't want them choosing the Mocha Mousse because the color brown was already everywhere. I mean, that could be its own red flag. If you're equating color palettes to epidermis colors, why did you have a problem? Why did you find the color brown as a red flag to you if you equate or you're drawing parallels between colors on a...
Altaori, you know the answer. This is an inherently racist person. Mom, get your teeth fixed. You're from America content, not a Brit. Ma'am. Oh, ma'am, get your teeth fixed. Hey, fair enough, yes. Fair enough. She's probably only half British.
Palette and skin, which you've done in this video, kind of seems underhandedly racist. You finding the brown color a red flag, which were your words. You claim that it was already popular, so why did they choose it? Why not, though? Why would you not want to celebrate brown? Do you not like the color brown for some reason? And then she says, instead of choosing everything that's a crowd pleaser, they chose something. But then you just got upset a minute ago from your last sentence by saying that they chose something that was already everywhere that people already like. So which is it? And then she got upset because, or not upset, but she finds it an issue that they're doing this to start conversation. Why would they not want to start conversation? That is literally the whole point of marketing, to get people to talk about, to reach as many people as possible. So what exactly are we bitching over? This person comes off like somebody who is upset about everything no matter what happens.
Yes.
Even if you give them exactly what they want, they'll find a reason to bend over backwards.
Yes, exactly. On point. That's the kind of person this is. Yes. You have to point this out. Exactly, Altori. On point. If it's too far too easy to turn the weapons against them. Yeah, it is, yes. It's fun. It's just fun.
And be upset about it. Don't talk to me. Okay, I won't talk to you. Why are you not talking to me? Okay, I will talk to you. How dare you talk to me? Like, what in the world?
Sounds like
make up your
ex
mind. You know what? Keep making these videos because they're absolutely hilarious. They're so freaking hilarious. And if I don't get angry with how foolish some of the words that come out of these people's mouths are, I just start freaking laughing. Because at that point, it feels like my brain just kind of shuts down because it's overwhelmed by the stupidity. And it just becomes pure, unadulterated entertainment because there ain't no way you can tell me that these people actually believe what they're saying, looking all dead inside. If you really want to bitch about something, I feel like there are better subjects that you could bitch about than a color company choosing white to symbolize unity and peace.
PPD? I don't know what that means. Could you write it out so I can actually answer?
The year 2026, which is what we need, and you're out here flipping through Jupiter's storms and the big old butthole on the side of the freaking planet, backflipping over Saturn's rings just to find something to be offended by, all while wearing a white t-shirt. You can't make this up.
Yeah, you can.
And look, while I tend to be very passionate, this is all in good fun. Maybe it's because I grew up around mostly guys and being a tomboy, and also my culture, like our love language was always poking fun at each other and being kind of blunt, but you could still call out something being ridiculous and not hate the person. Like, I'm sure you guys think I'm stupid with some of the things I say, and I can't even blame you because I do say.
No, I mean, sometimes you just say super stupid stuff, or just say something that you actually don't believe in, or just say something where people just understand it wrongly. But because a lot of people actually understood it that way, that means you said it wrong. It happens. Sometimes it happens, you correct yourself, and then it's done. Classes are the problem, says the Marxist. No, said the liberal. White is the problem, says the far left. Andrew Ryan's or something, I don't remember. I don't. It's, yeah. Everything's the problem. Just not the person that actually creates the problem. Borderline personality disorder. Yeah, it's called... I don't want to call the personality borderline disorder leftism because it's not. I know personally left people that are normal human beings that are sick of this entire things. This is just like freaking... I would call it feminism disorder, also just feminism as it is. You can call it what you want, but this is the modern day feminism, and the disorder is just how's it called? Self-importance thing, not nihilism. Where you just think that you are the best, you have to always be in the middle. Narcissist. Indoctrination. In some cases, yes, indoctrination. It's a very, very, very hefty thing. I have to find the correct words to actually explain it. I can't do it spontaneous. I'm sure there are some, but indirectors are too far gone in the incred of James said. Indoctrination. Yes, exactly. That's the yes. And I will still, even if they are indoctrinated this far, I would still say we have to get rid of them because they are gone. As it is. Because, I won't risk an innocent life just to freaking push a crook in the right direction. Just, and if they are disindoctrinated, gone. It's fine.
Stupid things sometimes
Done.
too. Doesn't mean you hate me, or maybe you do. Doesn't really matter. So to the original
Yeah, it doesn't
poster,
matter.
I don't hate her at all. I don't even know
Yeah.
her to hate her. Like she is what she
Yes.
is. I think some of the things she says.
Exactly, James. Schools don't teach critical thinking anymore correctly. And I was just happy to be in a generation and a teacher that actually taught me that. That actually told me, or our entire class taught our entire class, actual critical thinking and thinking all around. Because also thinking is a skill that you have to keep up.
Is batshit crazy, but that very small clip doesn't encompass who she is as a person. So, it's just one very tiny facet of her life. It's not like she filmed a video launching an innocent possum into the air for views and got disappointed when it didn't die upon impact. So with all of that said, just keep that in mind when we laugh at stuff like this, or you could agree with it. And I'm gonna let the very humble and sweet interior designer called Crystal D. Bright end out this video because I think she had the best and most classy response to all of this.
Nobody gave Pantone credit for having Mocha Mousse last year, but they're gonna get mad at them for having white this year. I don't think it's fair. Pantone's color of the year has people really upset, and I think people need to give it a rest because even though right now, culturally, DEI pulling back and a lot of the whitewashing, it feels really tone deaf. And I feel that, like I get that. I report on the color of the year every year in my blog. It's my best performing blog. I do a lot of research on it all year long. Pantone is not making a political statement here. And you might remember in 2008,
fair enough.
During the recession, grays and beiges were the main colors. And then when there are cultural revolutions, like after 2020, there is Viva Magenta. The second time they ever had two colors, one was a gray, but one was a super vibrant yellow. And then they had the pink and the purples, and they had these colors when there's a lot of cultural movements happening. And this is influenced in fashion too. And
exactly. She's
we
correct about
are
that, by the way.
feeling culturally inward and kind of.
Yes, she's correct. She's 100% correct about the entire. It's kind of hard to do a bit of self-education, critical think. That shit's hard. Yes, it is hard. It is. It is. And the thing about this, yes, it's hard. And the worst step you have to do, or the first step, is just get around the fact that you just have to put your ego aside and accept that you could be wrong about something.
Of focusing on other things, whether it be money, hardships in our nation, things start to get less colorful because it's what our nervous system needs. Brands are doing this. Major corporations are pulling back from color and making simplified fonts and simplified presentations because it's just an era right now where we're needing simplicity to make decisions. And in interior design, I focus on how Cloud Dancer is a great way to calm a space. A white space and color psychology also is a healing space. It's a space that allows you to feel calm and healing, and you can, add textures and color to the other parts of it. But as a color, and I have to tell you guys, white is a color. And as somebody who sifts through 400 shades of white on a day-to-day, you have to understand that. And this is actually a very inviting shade of white. Last year, we had Mocha Mousse. Like, Mocha Mousse was almost like the color of my complexion, and it was a brown, beautiful color, but it wasn't a political statement. Nobody gave Pantone credit for having Mocha Mousse last year.
Real quick, I want the people or person responsible for picking 20.
Portland jury clears black man of assault because white man he stabbed had said the N-word. This is the most 2025 headline. This is the headline that ends 2025. It's the most 2025 headline, right? And also, Portland jury, we knew exactly where that was going to go immediately. Portland is a shithole. It's a third world country. I'm going to start opening Oxfam offices and stuff like that there. For just £2 a month, you can sponsor this fucking fenthead. And everyone, right, that's all Portland is. Portland's just drug addicts. That's it. What does Portland even do? What do they do? What do they contribute to the world? They don't do anything. You know, like, New York at least has, like, banking and finances and multimedia empires. Texas and all the other Midwestern states have farming and contribute to the world. California, for all of its fucking flaws, at least has Silicon Valley, bringing everybody into the information age. Florida has fucking fishing, guns, and alligators, and also Florida men. Florida, in that regard, provides entertainment at the very least. What does Portland do? Like, they make fun of flyover states. The flyover states contribute to the fucking world. What does Portland do? What's it for? But anyway, a black man was acquitted of stabbing a white man in Oregon, so that means he just completely fucking got away with it, after he claimed the attack was self-defense because the victim called him a racial slur. So he felt the need to violently defend himself with a knife against words.
Oh, shoot. Thank you, James. Thank you. Freak. What I wanted to say, or what probably got skipped, was fuck yeah, Florida, guns, alligators, and stuff to eat. Yes. I love it. And Portland contributes exactly nothing except for a negative Beispiel, so something to show how you don't do it. Yeah, the pausing give it away, thank you. At least it was clear.
I love it. I love it how those
And not venom
fucking tough,
you know?
and then he said a word, and then I just got really upset. Like, fucking, yeah, they're massive pussies. But anyway, Gary Edwards, 43, was charged with second-degree assault for stabbing a man in Portland near a light rail stop on July the 8th, KPTV reported. Now, here's the funny thing is, he says, I had to stab him in self-defense because he called me the N-word. It turns out the guy called him the N-word after the stabbing. It was after it that he said it. However, he was found not guilty of the crime on October 31st after the jury learned the victim was using racial slurs in the aftermath.
By the way, every single one of those jury, including the guy that just, the judge that let him out, in a freaking prison, instantly. Instantly. And that's something a bit fucked about that state I live in. Oh. Okay. You can tell it in the chat. It's not shown because I don't know how.
Of the altercation.
Apparently,
so
New Jersey
it wasn't self-defense from the what?
Apparently, New Jersey has more cases of incest than Alabama. That's interesting. What the fuck? Okay, it is what it is. Hey, fuck.
Oof. What hadn't happened yet? He stabbed the guy.
Okay,
he actually stabbed the guy
before
the N-word was even said. And
yeah.
now, unpopular opinion, if you are stabbed by a black man, you've earned the right to say it.
Yeah.
You've earned the right to shout it at the top of your lungs because that guy is trying to kill you.
I agree with Count here. Yes, you should. And it is an insult in a freaking way. And it shouldn't be nothing special than every other insult in this freaking country. Or anywhere. John, that you hated there where you live, well, sorry about that, mate. I plan to move to Florida from Canada. Need to get out of commie Canada. James, be quick about it for fuck's sake. I literally had a friend, and I mean had a friend, in Canada that actually liked the entire thing. And one day his girlfriend calls me and says he got stabbed. And the guy gets away with it. Because my friend was white. So, yeah, get the fuck out of there.
He is stabbing you. He stabbed you. He
Yes.
tried to kill you. I think at that point, you're allowed to say it. So this is the thing that's hilarious, right, is this guy basically got no justice whatsoever, and he's probably scarred for life with stab wounds and stuff like that.
Yep.
And it's basically because the black guy got away with it because he said something mean after
Exactly.
I tried to kill
Yes.
him. And then the white guy gets no justice whatsoever.
Yep.
Because he said something very, very rude. And I imagine when you're in a situation where you're about to die, the adrenaline's going a little bit. You've just been stabbed.
yes,
I've
a little
been
bit.
stabbed and I've been stabbed once and I've been slashed twice. Right? Like fucking my adrenaline was going a little bit. I went a little
bit,
bit
yes,
mental.
a
I
bit.
lashed out in violence and took it a little bit too far because see when you're in a I'm about to die here situation, you go too far.
Mm-hmm.
You have to disable the threat. But
By the way, exactly, you have to disable the threat, and I will say this. If you are attacked, in my opinion, you can freaking take the guy's head off if he's stabbing you. I do not care. Just stop the attacker. You are, in this case, an innocent. Do not, even for a moment, think that you are worth less than the attacker. And this is fact, by the way. This is fact. Just remember that gun laws must be protected, James. Help resist against the dumbasses from NY. Yep, I agree. And I wish that we had the gun laws that are in America and Germany. Because it just makes sense. Especially the Castle Doctrine. We need the Castle Doctrine. I want the Castle Doctrine here.
it's fine. Nobody snitched because, after all, they tried to kill me. But anyway, right. And also, like, if you've been stabbed in that manner, you've earned the right to say it. That's what
Yes.
I'm trying to say.
Exactly.
But
I
the
agree
fact
with
is,
him,
this
yes.
Portland jury went, we don't care that this guy tried to kill you. You said something mean
Yes.
after he tried to kill you.
Yes.
What's Portland for? What is
As I said, judge and jury should go the fuck in a prison, or even better, get stabbed themselves and then see if they would find it so nice and basically just could resist the entire adrenaline thing and, well, say some bad things themselves. I could have come waiting for me in Florida when I move. One is a 1851 Italian rifle called Little Bit. James, please post a photo of that gun directly to me on Discord or in my community. I wanna see that shit. It sounds freaking awesome. I mean, who the hell is Ukraine going to join the EU with the proliferation of civilians with guns? I mean, I don't know, man. I don't know how the political stuff works there. I don't know. Ukraine, I don't really care about the Ukraine, to be quite honest. It is a corrupt shithole. That's just what it is. So I am sorry for the people that get shafted by it, but it is a corrupted shithole. I don't have a Discord. You need to send it to me. Discord? You don't have my Discord? James? What the fuck, dude? I'm gonna send a link in the... Or, John, I'm gonna continue this. Could you send James the link that is under my videos normally? Would you be so kind? Thank you.
Portland fucking for? Edwards, who is homeless and has a previous assault conviction, admitted to knifing the victim, Gregory Howard Jr., but claimed it was in self-defense because the other man called him the N-word, according to Oregon Live. However, he hadn't called him the N-word yet. He only called him it after he stabbed him. Security cameras with no audio captured Edwards with a fixed-blade knife in hand, approaching Howard as he sat on a bench. Howard immediately jumped up and pushed Edwards, then the two scuffled until Edwards stabbed Howard in the shoulder. Edwards' defense attorney, Daniel Small, reportedly told the jury that his client was approaching Howard to see if he would trade his knife for cigarettes. And the jury believed that. You know, maybe getting rid of jury trials is fine, especially if it's in Portland, where it's like, oh man, I'm a home get invaded. I'm a white family, my home get invaded, and my wife and kids get murdered right in front of me. But I live in Portland, and the perpetrators were black. So, what's the point in even going to court? They're just going to let. Did you yell at them when they entered into the house? Can't believe you would do that. No, they're not guilty. Fucking hell. Traders.
This is disgusting. What the fuck? Fair enough. More nations need to have guns with time on the low, zero chance to being there. Yep, exactly. But still, what the fuck, man? How is this? Yeah, he should have. I mean, for fuck's sake.
Knife for cigarettes, though. Holy shit! Like, I know defense lawyers have to come up with some absolute shite to try and get their client off the hook.
Yes,
but fucking not even Better Call Saul would try and fucking attempt that shit. Saul Goodman wouldn't even try and touch that one. What other than racism could it...
I mean, I'm gonna be honest. It worked. And because it worked, well, it's legit. But fuck me anyway. This is disgusting. Why did it work? The guy that shot him should go to freaking into prison. He shouldn't be in here, for fuck's sake. This is disgusting.
Explain why Mr. Howard perceived hatred, animosity, and aggression from a complete stranger, Small said. Maybe the fact you were walking towards him with a fucking knife. Maybe that. If you've got a homeless guy walking towards you with a knife, you don't sit there and go, I'm about to have a wonderful exchange. We're about to have a great conversation. Right, I wonder what battle of wits we're about to have here. Maybe he wants to discuss philosophy.
Yeah.
Perhaps that. Maybe he's going to ask me about the weather
Philosophy
or
of the
directions or something like, holy shit. Moments later, body camera footage from security officers captured Howard shouting a racist slur at Edwards after he had been stabbed. It is unclear if there is any evidence to suggest that Howard used the slur before he was stabbed. Prosecutor Catherine Williams told the jury it did not matter what the victim said after he was stabbed. The defendant is...
Good. I cannot share the link. James. Hear me out. I'm gonna show you how to find my link. And it's basically on any video. If you go to the Smiling Lich channel, videos, if you just click on, let's just say the last one, media is lying again, open the thingy bob down here, then you can see the Discord link. Just click on it, or right click, and then Acolyte Sanctum. So, there it is. Do it what you... I think it loads... It loads so long because I'm recording and it just takes a lot of freaking work RAM or something like that. I don't fucking know.
Is not scared for his life. He didn't retreat. He sauntered up and he sauntered away after stabbing someone. The defendant created the situation, Williams said, which is true. Despite the prosecutor's pleas, the jury found Edwards not guilty. Edwards' lawyer insisted the case should have never gone to trial. You stabbed someone.
I mean, I'm gonna be honest, I agree with him, but not in the way that he thinks. This should never have gone to trial. The freaking man should have gone instantly into jail. And the only thing that should have been decided in the trial is either how long he spends in the prison, or if he gets instantly offed and buried in a well. Nothing else.
You walked up to someone and just stabbed them. I'm amazed this went to trial. It's like, holy fucking shit. The thing is, like, over here, if the guy had said, like, tweets or something like that, like, the prosecutor would be all over that. The jury would be like, guilty, 100 years, and all that stuff. I swear to God, man, you can't trust the courts anymore. Edwards, who is homeless, spent about 3 months in custody before the trial after prosecutors argued he was a threat to the public due to his lengthy criminal record, according to the
Yes,
outlet.
of course.
Okay, so he has a very, very long history of doing this. And then he, like, did it again. He did it again. He just walked up and stabbed the guy in the street. And it was in the shoulder, so he might have been aiming for his neck. The shoulder's right here, your jugular. Yeah, everyone goes, what side's the jugular on? You've got two. Right, however, the one on your dominant side's a lot bigger. Right, but basically, like... yeah, that could have been the jugular. That was attempted murder, essentially.
Yep, it was.
And then he's got a long history of doing it, and they went, yeah, but he said a mean thing, and then just let him go. He was convicted of attempted second-degree assault in 2021 and was sentenced to 3 years in prison for another stabbing in 2020. Record shows he's got a history of just going up and fucking stabbing people.
Imagine, if you don't treat criminals like criminals, they will repeat this shit. Who would have fucking thought? Who would even think about an option like this? This is unholy,
was accused
man.
of fourth-degree assault for fighting with a shop clerk, but the case was dismissed because he could not secure a public defender. Daily Mail contacted the prosecutor's office, Portland Police, and Edwards' attorney for comment.
Yeah, me too.
What an absolute fucking farce. This is, again, I realise it's a terrible, awful thing, yeah. Basically, Portland's a fucking joke. Its justice system's a joke. It's a meme of a fucking place. I'm now putting it up there with Belgium. Right, I think America should secede from Portland, right? Just get rid of the place. Get rid of the place. Oregon, the entire fucking place, gone. Gone. Just Oregon, just get rid of it. Get rid of Oregon. It's not doing you any good.
Exactly.
I guarantee you it's skewing the crime statistics. Right? Just cut them round, push them out into the Pacific, and then all the fent folders can just act like sails and just carry them around the fucking Pacific, right? That's what you need to do. Get rid of Oregon. Get rid of Portland. It's done. Right? Just, the place doesn't have a point anymore.
Fair enough. Fair effing enough. This dude.
Portland,
this freaking dude. Incredible. Incredible. I just hope he gets... I mean, I'm gonna be honest. This is justice. Justice is the thing that you get for the most part in a society. And justice just looks right now, yeah, everybody who has a different color than you or is a bit darker just gets away with stuff. That's just how justice looks right now, sadly. Big sadly. But okay. It is what it is, I guess, for now. Good. Let's see the next one. About a horror game. From Sovereign of Dusk. I never seen this dude, by the way, so I don't know what to expect here, but it's about a horror game that lies to me. And I don't like liars.
At a remote Scottish village in the year 1674, rumors of a witch are afloat. With each passing day, the residents grow more and more suspicious of each other, and it is up to us.
It has Darkwood vibes, I'm gonna say this. It looks good.
To find this monster before it's too late, we play as a witch finder, summoned to sort truth from lies. But this is no easy task. For a real witch would never confess unless the devil's hold on them was broken. We have no choice but to use more advanced methods of persuasion to loosen their sinful tongues. By the fifth dawn,
Oh,
a
sure.
witch must hang.
Yep.
This is the story of demonology, a short but chilling indie horror game that offers a glimpse into the brutality of the European witch trials. The title of the game is likely a reference to a book of the same name.
I am actually really interested in if they are actually depicting this entire thing correctly. Because the witch trials, I actually read the Hexenhammer, the hammer of the witch, or on the witch, I don't know how it's in English, Hexenhammer. And there are a lot of documentations of actually men being, well, more often tried than women. So there is a thing where history just doesn't do, well, justice.
Written by King James VI in 1597, the work describes witches as hidden threats within everyday life and thoroughly outlined the methods required to expose them. Witchfinders treated its pages as direct mandate. They entered towns with unwavering certainty, armed with the king's writings and a worldview that framed suspicion as virtue and hesitation as weakness. The premise of demonology is simple. We have 4 days to identify the witch residing within the village. There are 6 residents, or other suspects in total, each found in different locations. Interacting with them consumes time, of which we have a finite amount of. Starting at the smith's abode, we meet the man who summoned us, Blacksmith Oswin. The forge is thick with dust and cobwebs, and its keeper wears a strange metal contraption strapped across his face. He claims that damned shepherd
The damn shepherd. And James, the gun looks freaking awesome. James, freaking nice. It is freaking awesome. My question is, can I post it in the Acolyte Sanctum channel? May I do it? If yes, it's just for show. I'm not gonna tell your name or from who it is. I just wanted people to see it. That's all. I'm gonna memes the DNA of the words. Go right for it. Thank you. The Sharpened cursed his jaw. Yep, the Sharpened cursed his jaw. And it looks awesome, by the way. No. I think this is actually a device where you rammed, like you have nails in the metal thing, and then you just ram the entire thing on the mouth of the person, so they show you something. I don't remember entirely every single freaking device, but let's just say a fair amount of things, or a fair amount of ways. I don't use my real name in my Discord or... Oh, good. Okay, then thank you. But I just wanted to be sure, I just wanted to be sure. That's all. You never know, You never know. You don't know. Good.
His jaw to fall off.
By the way, John, if you want, the gun is under art, the bone art, in Discord if you want to look at it. It looks freaking nice.
After which he managed to weld it back on. That, he insists, is why he called for us. In his mind, this is witchcraft beyond question, but that is for us to decide. Heading to the shepherd's abode, we find the place in ruin. The fence has collapsed, and most of the sheep lie dead. The old woman, Violet, seems distraught. She claims a curse has been placed upon her, and insists that the vile blacksmith sent his wolf familiar to slaughter her flock. When we inform Violet of Oswin's accusation, she dismisses it as a blatant lie, claiming that the damage to his jaw was his own doing. Already we have 2 conflicting accounts, and it seems likely that things will only get more complicated from here on out. The Witchfinder asks the shepherd if she loves God, to which she responds with doubt, questioning if that prick still loves her. This seems to anger the Witchfinder.
I like this woman. She would survive in my world. Questioning if the prick lives. Yeah.
Warning
point,
that if she
on
doesn't
point.
mind her words, he'll have her swinging by day's death. Making our way to the old church, we meet the village priest, Father Usby. The man seems eager to assist with the investigation and directs us towards a woman named Lilias near the Ring o' Stains. Usby speaks of her with open contempt, calling her a filthy whore who dances with shadows at night. Another suspect added to the list. The priest also tells us that not too long ago, there were 9 people living in this village, but the blacksmith's wife passed from illness during the winter. The shepherd's husband fled after drowning in debt, and Lilias's gentleman caller went missing just the week before.
Yep, and nobody expects the Spanish Inquisition.
Interesting. Following the priest's suspicions, we head to the Ring o' Stains to find this woman. Lilias sits calmly within the circle of stones, looking far more composed than her reputation suggests. She describes herself as a practitioner of traditional healing, and boasts that there are little her concoctions cannot cure. When asked about the other villages, she speaks kindly of all of them, all except Father Usby. She warns us against seeking salvation from him, claiming his mind has slipped into zealotry and worse. We then question her about the priest's claim that he once saw her dancing with shadows in the night. Lilias of course denies this outright, saying she has felt no desire to dance ever since her lover went missing. She then turns the accusation back on the priest, asking why he would be spying on her in the middle of the night to begin with. A fair question indeed. Lilias believes Usby disapproves of her relationship with young Gavin, a stable hand from the next village over. They have been courting for a few years now, but she has not seen him of late, nor has anyone else. At the edge of the woods, we encounter a strange old woman by the name of Griselda. She
Baba
immediately
Yaga.
berates
Nice.
us for trespassing in her forest and threatens to put a curse of boils on our member and maggots on our backside. The Witchfinder doesn't take kindly to
she's in
these
it.
remarks and warns the crone to bite her tongue, or else he shall remove it. But in response, Griselda just makes another perverse joke about our intentions. She clearly has a few screws loose, and her age does nothing to reflect her maturity. The old woman then goes on to claim that everyone in
this
this
one too.
village has shared their bed with
Yep.
Satan. So
think
if
it
it's
would.
a witch we seek, then we need only take our pick. The last resident
If you want to see a witch, take a selfie. Nice. But I'm gonna be honest, Sovereign of Dusk, by the way, this is the guy. Nice talking voice. Very calm and very precise, I like it.
of the village can be found at Bothwell's Crossing, a fisherman. His appearance is by far the most
Oh,
monstrous. His entire body seems covered in hair, and
Damn. He didn't shave for a long time. Damn, those teeth. Looks like Esmongold a bit. Except for the eyes.
his face looks warped
And
and
the hair on the
distorted. The man explains that his father was the same, suggesting an inherited condition like hypertrichosis. But despite his unsightly exterior,
White woman
Fearon
for
is
dream
easily
right
the most
here.
pleasant among the residents.
Yeah.
He's the only one who refrains from throwing out accusations. On the contrary, he insists that there are no witches in this village at all, just good simple folk working the land. But that still remains to be seen. That night, the Witchfinder experiences his first of many prophetic dreams, said to reveal truths hidden from his waking mind. In this vision, we see a distorted version of Father Usby kneeling in frantic prayer, his hands pointed downward towards the earth beneath him. Behind the priest are several demonic creatures, observing and partaking in the ritual. The dream ends abruptly as Usby's body rises into the air, twisted into the shape of an upside-down cross.
Damn. That's a
In
dream.
the morning, we
Tuesday.
continue our investigation. Oswin remains convinced that the shepherd cursed him, now adding that
What? Quasimodo with hypertrophy causes. What? Oh,
he believes it was in retaliation for the fence he built for her. Violet claimed the fence was poorly made and refused to pay for the work, later insisting that its weakness allowed wolves to slip into her farm and slaughter her sheep. But Oswin tells a different story, insisting the fence was sound and that she simply left the gate open. But that can't be the case. The fence was clearly broken. When asked
Yep.
about Violet's accusation that he sent a wolf familiar to attack her farm, Oswin dismisses it outright, calling her a lying witch. It's obvious this back and forth will lead us nowhere. The two are determined to blame each other for everything, and their stories
Yep.
shift with every conversation. It's best we turn our attention elsewhere for now. Checking up on the priest, Usby seems concerned that we are spending so much time inside the house of the Lord. Vermin rush to the shadows, not bask in holy light, he says. But there are others who would say differently. When we inform him of Lilius's accusations, he takes great offense, doubling down on his claim that she is the witch, and now adding that she has taken the lives of at least 3 infants, a charge as bold as it is heinous.
Yep.
Returning to the woods, old Griselda launches straight back into a tirade, wishing that our eyes burst open with
Vati video. Yeah, Vati video also has good stuff. Yeah, Vati is fantastic. And he does a very good reading of the Dark Souls lore as it is, yes. I love him, by the way. I love this dude. And there is also a different one, like the Vile Eye. And what's the other guy called? I always forget his name. Irrelevant. I'm gonna just love it. Yep.
ants. She then begins cursing the priest, claiming she once saw him praying with his hands pointed downward, as though offering devotion to Lucifer beneath the earth. Her description perfectly mirrors what we witnessed in last night's dream. Curious, we ask when she saw the priest performing this blasphemous act. She answers, the morrow, which makes little sense unless she somehow sees into the future. When we press her again, clarifying the question, Griselda suddenly appears confused, as if she has no idea who or what we are speaking about. The cycle continues endlessly, hinting at a deeper cognitive decline. Given her age, dementia seems like the most likely explanation. Either way, we won't get much more out of her like this.
Yeah.
At this point, we've reached a standstill. The residents refuse to give us straight answers, and every conversation leads only to more contradictions. If we hope to uncover the truth, whatever that truth may be, we must resort to more drastic measures. Fortunately for us, our trusty handbook outlines exactly what must be done. We teared their tongues, we filled their lungs with water, we crushed their fingers, and we...
You know what the most absurd thing was about the drowning part? Of course, the drowning part was the 9 plus ultra, but the thing was, if you drowned, you are innocent. Yeah, but at that point, nobody gives a fuck. Do they? They...
pierced their skin. Even after the first round of torture, Violet remains adamant that the blacksmith is the witch. But with a bit more persuasion, her story changes. She admits she lied about Oswin, that she simply forgot to close the gate to her farm, allowing the sheep to fall prey to wolves or some other beasts. But even this confession still raises doubts. The fence is very clearly destroyed. Violet then shifts the blame again, now accusing the fisherman. She says she wouldn't be surprised if he was the one who attacked her sheep, saying that Firon appears more beast than man. But this is just another baseless accusation from an already unreliable source. After loosening Oswin's tongue, he concedes that the fence he built for Violet wasn't his finest work. That would explain the wreckage. Still, he remains convinced that she is the witch we seek. How else, he argues, could we explain what happened to his jaw? Usby remains oddly fixated on Lilius, and for a man of the cloth, he says some truly vulgar things about her. Even the Witchfinder notices this, but the priest just continues rambling, calling her a blasphemous pagan harlot. His fixation with the young woman grows more apparent with each conversation. There is clearly something going on between them that he refuses to admit. After roughing Lilius up, she reveals her true feelings about you.
Yep. If you live, you are a witch, yes. If you live, you are a witch. If you drown, you are actually thingy-bob innocent. But if you actually survive for some reason, they're gonna burn you anyway. So, you know, lose-lose scenario at that point.
That he is a shadow looming over them all, a beast in sheep's clothing, whose slimy tendrils clasp the village tight. When confronted about Usby's accusations regarding the newborns, the woman breaks down, crying uncontrollably.
Yep, it was.
Lilius explains that she and her partner Gavin almost...
The drowning stuff is just one of a lot way crueler methods they got actually done. Drowning was one of the most humane things they did to those people, believe you me. The rest I'm not gonna mention.
had a child of their own, but the priest claimed it was an abomination conceived out of wedlock, forcing her to terminate the pregnancy. There's no doubt about it. Usby harbors some sort of twisted obsession with Lilius, something far deeper than the righteous anger he pretends to wield. Turning our attention back to old Griselda, she tells us something entirely unexpected. She claims that she is the witch we've been looking for. But not only that, according to the crone, the shepherd and the fisherman are witches as well. She says they feast upon festering carcasses, like buzzards in hell, and that they will feast upon us too, if we fail to deal with them. It's a tempting confession to latch onto, but Griselda is far from a reliable source. We shouldn't jump to conclusions just yet. Despite all the information we've gathered, we seem no closer to solving the case. Firon once again urges us to see reason, insisting that we will find no witches here, or anywhere for that matter. But what does he know? He's just a lowly fisherman, and we are a veteran witchfinder, armed with the mandate of the king. That night, we dream once more. In this vision, a witch-like figure sits within the ring of stains, gently caressing what appears to be a child. After some time, the child is taken up by a web into a nest of sorts, but soon falls, revealing...
That's nice imagery. I like it. The web, the children, this is nice. The entire game looks very, very nice.
Its unsettling appearance. The child screams and cries to no end, and then suddenly, its head erupts, releasing a swarm of tiny insects. The stream seems to echo the story Lilius told us, the pregnancy that was taken from her. With time running low, we have no choice but to become more aggressive in our interrogation. Lilius adds further detail to her story, claiming to have saw the priest performing an unholy ritual inside the church, cavorting with all manner of beasts. She also casts suspicion on Griselda, warning us that men who wander into her woods never return. She believes the crone turns them into trees, and fears her lover Gavin met the very same fate after entering the woods and disappearing. On top of her usual vulgarities, Griselda now accuses the blacksmith of dancing with the devil's flame. Flames of hell, she says, bright flashes of pure white, far too intense to belong to this earth. When we question Oswin about these strange lights, he explains that they were not the work of witchcraft, but rather part of a small project of his. He claims to have acquired a powerful red powder from a German fellow, one that burns brighter than we would ever believe.
Oh, nice. They even include a bit of history in it, because I know that if you manage to actually get the heat up, or the higher the heat goes, you actually get blue flames at one point, or even white flames if you really overdo it. But you need some crazy amount of heat for that one.
The substance he describes is likely phosphorus, which gives us a possible explanation for Oswin's jaw. Phossy jaw, or phosphorus necrosis of the jaw, is a severe condition where the jawbone decays due to prolonged exposure to white phosphorus. By heating red phosphorus in
Yeah.
his forge,
Yeah.
Oswin may have inadvertently created an unstable white phosphorus-like compound that slowly destroyed his jaw over time, which would mean that his accusations against the shepherd carry little credibility. Usby puts up a strong front, but
Damn, that's actually quite nice. If you have that knowledge, you know, okay, there is... then you have an innocent person there. That's freaking awesome. Yes, so this idiot poisoned himself, basically. I mean, let's just see it in context. These days, we know more of those things than they did at that point. Like, though the people that actually died from this, or from stuff like this, well, we learned because of this. So it's a brutal way of learning, but, well, at that point, you didn't know that this happens. But he's still a moron.
with enough persistence, we finally break him. The priest confesses that he gave in to temptation and coveted relations with Ilias. He claims that he begged a black goat to let him bed that supple maiden, and as disturbing as that is, what follows next is even worse. Usby says he takes comfort in knowing Lilias's lover will never return, because he saw to that, personally, burying his remains in the old woods. Griselda attests to this, claiming she saw the priest dash the lad's brains out firsthand. Usby is undeniably a wicked and depraved individual, but whether he is the witch we seek still remains uncertain. When we inform Lilias of the priest's confession, she reacts with shock and horror. She begs us to just hang the villain, insisting that only someone aligned with the devil could commit such an evil act.
Fair enough.
And perhaps she is right. At night, we dream of the blacksmith and witness the blinding white flames Griselda spoke
flashback
of.
again.
Oswin seems to be forging across, and within his workshop stands a sheep that promptly loses its head upon seeing the blacksmith's terrifying face, which resembles the skull of a slack-jawed raven. This imagery is clearly meant to reflect the accusations made against Oswin by the shepherd. Today is our last chance to discern the truth, and things have only gotten more complicated. After subjecting Lilias to further torture, she suddenly admits that she is the witch we seek, and claims to have attempted to kill the priest at the behest of her master. The woman says that she slipped cursed belladonna, a highly toxic plant, into his wine, seeking retribution for the way Usby groped her when she was a child, and for the dirty looks he still gives her today. Lilias also claims Griselda aided her in this task, insisting the old crone is the Grand High Witch who turns men into trees. At this point, we can either allow Usby to drink the poisoned wine, or warn him of Lilias's plot. It doesn't make much of a difference either way, but we might as well let the woman have her revenge. Besides, it's not all...
I like the thinking here. Yes, we might as well. I mean, the guy murdered someone, so... you know.
Place to mediate the personal affairs of the villagers. We are a witchfinder after all, not the town's watchman. Our only concern should be finding the witch. Usby gulps down the wine, but the poison doesn't seem to take effect just yet. Ramping up the frequency and intensity of the torture, we begin getting confessions left and right. First the shepherd. Despite her prior bickering, she now admits to being the witch and begs for the torture to stop. She claims to have slaughtered her own sheep as a sacrifice to...
Yep. This is, by the way, one of the things that happened a lot. People would get tortured so long that they would just admit to whatever you want. If you want to hear something, I'm going to say just stop with the thing what you're doing. That's a thing that happens a lot. So the confessions were bollocks anyway.
...to the devil, hoping to place a curse on Oswin to silence his insufferable rambling. Next, the blacksmith begins to sing. After Violet refused to pay for his work, he says he stoked up Lucifer himself from his fires and set the wolves of hell upon her sheep. Lastly, Griselda cackles with delight. She declares that everyone in this damned village is a witch and dares us to hang them all if we have the courage. And just like that, our time is up. The sun sets, and we have our last dream. We dream of the woods late at night. A lone man has wandered his way in, and in the shadows lurks a witch. She casts a spell that disfigures his body, morphing the man into a tree, an obvious reference to the accusations made by Lilius against Griselda.
Yes,
Morning
that's the point.
arrives, and we are faced with the decision: who is the witch? We have spent the last 4 days terrorizing and interrogating these 6 villages, yet we stand with no clearer answer than when we began. The priest admits to murder, but not witchcraft. The blacksmith, the shepherd, and the maiden all confess to being the witch, yet their stories contradict one another. Griselda insists that every last one of them is a witch, and the fisherman says that none of them are. So who do we trust? Who do we sentence to death? Well, the truth of the matter is that our decision is utterly meaningless. No matter who we send to the gallows, the result remains identical. The witchfinder is paid for his services and rides off in his carriage without a care in the world. Just like in the real-life witch hunts, there was never any witch. We were simply led to believe there was. The witchfinder is a zealot, and both his thoughts and actions reflected that. His dreams were never prophecies. They were the subconscious ravings of a madman. Anything that initially appeared supernatural actually carries a far more grounded explanation upon closer inspection. Even the so-called devil's mark, a sign supposedly present only on those who have made a pact with the devil, appears on every single villager, meaning it is either another hallucination of the witchfinder or a deliberate distortion of reality. But then what of the confessions, you ask? Well, it turns out that torture is perhaps not the most reliable way to determine the truth. This is something that has been proven both by history and modern psychology. Under extreme pain, fear, or exhaustion, the human brain prioritizes survival over honesty. People will say whatever they think the torturer wants to hear in order to get the pain to stop. If we actually examine the villagers' confessions, we find they are incoherent, contradictory, and completely detached from the narratives they gave earlier. This exact same phenomenon is what defined the European witch trials. Innocent people invented impossible stories and confessed to crimes they had never committed, all in a desperate attempt to end their suffering. This was the grim reality of being accused of witchcraft in the 1600s. The fisherman, whose name in Scots Gaelic fittingly means truth, said it best. You won't find any witches here, or anywhere for that matter, only your own wretched soul that has made a pact with devils and demons. You only hear the truths you wish to hear.
And this is so effing true. I love this. I love this storytelling of the game. This is so freaking nice. I mean, these days we know that it was total bollocks, but also like the thinking at that time, it was just
Blackened
perfect.
beggar, a leech upon the land, trading torment for gold.
Yep.
There's one final dream that perfectly captures the entire story of demonology. In it, a lone black-coated sheep approaches a group of other sheep resting peacefully. It begins aggressively growling and snarling at them, causing these dark tendril-like structures to twist and form around their bodies. The sheep cry out in pain, but they are powerless to resist. All they can do is accept their fate. This is analogous of how the witchfinder, through his brutal and inhumane torture, twisted the residents into becoming the very monsters he sought to find.
Yep, on point. Hans Johansson showed us the best Nazi incorrect and got the information from people by building a rapport, using kindness and leading the... Yes, exactly, yes, exactly. This was one of the most effective ways of actually getting information out of people, because they thought they can trust him. And, well, they couldn't, spoilers, but it was highly effective. Highly. Because after a while, you just get the thing out, like, you just want... If you trust someone, it's just perfect. By the way, Sovereign of Dusk just showed the guy some love. He does some good things. Maybe it's not a video I can react to be honest, because I didn't. I mean, I could include some information, but I don't know. I'm gonna try that hates you. Oh wait, Dragon Guard, isn't it? I mean, Dagon as a killer, can you expect to have fun? Let's just see. Yep, he did. He was hired by DOS. And hey, if you get somebody that can do that, yeah, fair enough. A game that hates you, Dragon Guard, I think it's called. Let's just see this one, because all my if you don't know Acolytes, if you don't know this game, damn.
It is
It's
said that
just-
art doesn't have to make you happy, or make you laugh, or excited even.
Oh.
Art should make you feel something. Whatever that something is
Yeah.
will come as a result of the author's vision filtered through your own personal perception, which is why it's impossible to quantify how good a work of art is at eliciting emotion. You can definitely put it into words, but unlike many other objective elements
Yep.
like plot structures and internal consistency, the emotional side is entirely personal. You can
Yes.
never be wrong about how something makes you feel, since that's something unique to you, and it would be a foolish endeavor to tell you how something should make you feel.
Yeah, but the thing is, you also have sometimes like things that make most people feel that way and most people that way. So there is a certain plan and thing to it, but normally it's individual. Like how it makes you specifically feel is always a question of, well, we will see when it comes to it.
Even if we can agree that certain movies are sad and certain games are fun, that comes from a reasonable assumption of the author's intention and an assessment of their success. It's easy to understand when a movie's supposed to be sad or epic. We recognize attempted comedic timing, but can you properly explain to me why something, regardless of the author's intention, just makes you feel miserable?
Yeah. Yep, there it is. Yep, there it is.
Drakengard, the classic.
By the way, I played, I think it was the second one, while I was a child. I think I was about 11 or 12. I don't remember exactly. But maybe the reason why I'm so fucked up.
The Gold Action RPG for the PlayStation 2 is one of the most baffling gaming experiences I can recall. Unlike any other RPGs or story-based games with downer stories, it doesn't present itself as a tragedy. Sure, it's grand and bombastic, but the tone is more in line with the typical shonen anime than with a serious character drama.
True.
Cult classic.
It was a fun game.
That term carries a certain prestige, doesn't it? Almost as if saying that the people back then were too stupid to understand this, except for a few individuals who really got it. It comes with an expectation of quality, a sort of excuse as to why, despite its virtues, it wasn't very successful. But many years, thanks to its passionate fans, we can still experience it and feel that joy for the first time. But there is no joy to be found in Drakengard. Every element of this game seems to be intentionally designed to make you miserable. The world exists in a natural state of disaster. The gameplay is monotonous and unengaging, making you feel the coldness of taking away human lives by the hundreds, and almost every single person in this story is a horrible human being. This is not a game you play for fun, at least not anymore. Unlike many of its contemporaries, it didn't exactly shake the industry or break any design conventions, and the biggest reason as to why it's still being discussed today is because it spawned other more popular games. And that is precisely why I find it so interesting. What was it about this scrappy little game that captivated the few people who played it and enticed its own creator to continue the story in such an unorthodox way?
It's just, this game is just, I don't know what fucked up human being actually thought of it, but it did. I never played it. What? My reason? I don't know what your reason was. But I can only imagine if you heard that it's fucked up, well then, you know.
Is it still worth going back to? And was my time with it well spent? I can't give you easy answers to those questions, but hopefully I can help you find your own conclusion. That being said, let's talk about Drakengard, a game that hates you.
Love, crimson blood, poison, Eternity. Revenge.
Drakengard takes place in a dark fantasy setting. They wanted to make this world stand out against the comparatively colorful and whimsical settings of Final Fantasy.
And by the way, at that point, those graphics, it's freaking awesome. It was freaking high quality for that time. For being messed up. Yes, fair enough, by the way. I didn't know it was messed up, so I played it. Then, well, after a while, I knew it was messed up. Eternal Darkness sprained my interest in H.P. Lovecraft. Fair enough. Understandable. Eternal Darkness was also
Nice. And Dragon Quest, and they succeeded. Welcome to Midgard. It has nothing to do with Norse mythology. The god of Midgard is responsible for 3 big creations: the dragons, the races of Midgard, and the Watchers. But there is a species that he did not create, and that's humanity. In fact, God hates humanity and wants to destroy them. Dragons were created to destroy humanity. The humans, ever oblivious to the cruel thesis of their god, worshipped him and rationalized the dragon attacks as trials sent by God. But eventually, a threat far more destructive than the dragons arrived from the skies: the Watchers. These demonic entities came directly from the realm of God and were the tools of humanity's destruction. But once again, the humans, especially the people of the Empire, saw them as gods and worshipped them. But eventually humanity was forced to protect itself from these grotesqueries if they were to survive. So the seal was created, a magical barrier to prevent the Watchers from entering Midgard, for they would bring nothing but chaos and death. The seal was divided in 4: the seal of the ocean, the seal of the desert, the seal of the forest, and finally, the goddess. Contrary to what her name may imply, the goddess is not a deity, but in fact a title forcefully bestowed upon a human woman. She who bears the seal will renounce her ties to her mortal life, exiling herself to the goddess's castle to spend her days in prayer in order to prevent the seal from breaking. Any distractions are forbidden, so the goddess will never see her friends or family for the rest of her days.
Yep. And by the way, the entire thing just beautifully made. Very sad. You think at this point we'd realize this god hates us? You would think. No. In fact, no. Simply not. People literally believe in things that don't exist. And that harm them. So, no. No. They wouldn't realize it. Until it's really, really at that point where you either die out or you don't. But no, it just doesn't work that way, sadly.
This is the world in which Kaim was born, a world cursed by its own creator, where humanity worships the very beings created to destroy them, a world in which innocent women are forced to sacrifice their lives to prevent it from ending, a world in which that woman is his sister. When Kaim was very young, he witnessed a black dragon devour his parents, and not long after he lost his sister too after she became the goddess. Kaim lost everything, so by the time we meet him, he's already a broken man. Starting the game without this context mistakenly leads you to believe that you're controlling your typical RPG hero. A selfless protagonist who will sacrifice anything to protect his sister. During the first mission, he's mortally wounded, but then he meets the dragon, who is in a similar predicament. To save each other and gain strength in the process, they make a pact, merging their souls together, binding their fates to each other. Kaim obtains the immense power of the dragon, but he has lost his ability to speak. And there's something to say about this, right? From this point onward, the main way Kaim has to express himself is almost exclusively through violence. When you first fly in the back of the dragon, it's cathartic. The orchestral music soars and you feel invincible. Throwing fire at enemies and dodging attacks in any direction is a feeling that any mortal would dream of. But the dragon asks a question.
Must you slaughter so many?
Which seems like a strange question for a video game to ask, but is it? Usually the more enemies you defeat in a game, the better. You get more experience points or materials, eliminate a threat, or maybe it's just fun to do it. But after the initial rush wears off, you realize something. Killing enemies is no fun, so why do you do it? Well, to rescue my sister. But do you have to? There may be hundreds of enemies in the battlefield, but the game only asks you to kill the target enemies. You do not need to kill anyone else. Why would anyone go out of their way to kill so many people like this?
EXP. EXP. That's what I say. But no, purely from the storyline, I mean, if you're a human being, you cannot just go to your target and off it. Game mechanic wise, yes, you can. But it doesn't work that way. Grandfather Nurgle will take our pain away and praise Nurgle. Yes, praise me for F's sake, James. Hello, funny excellent man. Oh, good evening. Didn't see you coming, huh? How are you doing today? Good. Good. I'm actually quite just a bit ruffled up because I had a very, very, very hard working week. But otherwise, good. How are you?
And for fun? The answer is simple. You are a horrible person.
Ah, come on. I know that.
The dragon may call you out on how cruel you are, but it's not like that's gonna stop you. You have a mission to accomplish.
First of all this. Second of all, the dragon can freaking suck my rib because at the end of the day, he does the same.
And the more the enemy soldiers imbibe, the better. The safer this world will be. After all, these people are trying to bring about calamity to Midgard. They're not even human to me. They're monstrous drones for the empires that want to destroy this world. So their lives are worth nothing. At least, that's what I tell myself. Because otherwise, it would mean that...
To sacrifice, mother, ritual, scarlet, prayer.
Everybody bleeds. I love this. Yes. That's true. And give me a second, just so I can answer your question specifically here. Give me a second. I'm gonna open my wish list because yes, there is a certain game, and that's Fatekeeper. Fatekeeper. It's called Fatekeeper. I don't even find it on Steam, but just. Fatekeeper, there it is. Yeah, that's the name. Wait, is it even announced? No, to be announced. Okay, this is the thing that I actually wanna see, or that I'm excited for, and I thought that it's next year, but otherwise, the other thing that I am very, very excited for is Crimson Desert. So let's just see if this comes out. If you can actually look at this yourself. There it is. Crimson Desert, that's the name. Why would we take the world of creatures who was made to hunt and exterminate humans? Correctly, John. There isn't any reason. But even if there is a monster that reasons with you, but it's correct, you can then say, yes, you are actually correct about this, this, and this. And nonetheless, fuck you because you wanna kill me. Just because something wants to kill you doesn't mean that it's incorrect. The truth has most of the time way more behind the scenes things than you think. But you always have to say, okay, it is what it is. Sometimes you just have to say that. It's that simple. Wow, Fatekeeper, I never heard of it. It's really cool from pictures or Steam. Fatekeeper looks freaking awesome. It's I just hope it will be good. Of Heroes of Might and Magic old era. Yes, James, this is one of the things that I forgot about of Heroes of Might and Magic. Yes, this is also something that I just wanna see. It is what it is. And the next thing that I actually always forget how it's called, the Crusade. Crusade. No, not here. For F's sake, how is it? Band of Crusaders. Band of Crusaders. Here, this is also. You are welcome for the recommendation. Thank you. Also made a pact with the bitch. Doesn't it make you a traitor of your kin? John, you are in it. You're deep in it. Yes, it does. It freaking does. I like this. Nice. Oh, yes. Good. Let's continue.
The cast is composed by a couple of interesting individuals, each of them carrying a sin that led them to make a pact of their own. Kaim may have sacrificed his speech in order to gain power, but his team is no better than him. The dragon may fight alongside you, but make no mistake, she hates humans just as much as they hate her. She doesn't accept the pact with Kaim due to some shared goal, she does it because otherwise she's going to die. And throughout the story she makes no attempt at hiding her disdain for humans. But can you blame her? Firstly, she was created to destroy humans, but even then, in her thousands of years of life, she had only ever witnessed humans committing atrocities towards each other and to her dragon siblings.
And this is the point where I say, what the F, you're arguing in a way where both sides are here. You literally argue for a dragon, like, can you blame me? They were made to kill people. But why is this better than humans defending themselves? Why is the one side better off, or just looked at way more cordial than the side that defends itself? It just doesn't make a difference. If you have someone who wants to harm you, you defend yourself. It doesn't matter if it's in their nature or not. In the word logic, this dragon's acting extremely outside order practices. And why bind yourself to lesser creatures? Silly, shallow, nihilist. Exactly. I mean, John, survival is a very good motivator for things. So that is what it is. If I see a biggest dragon and fighting, I'm fighting, even if it's passive. Its sheer size will make me perform defensive stance regardless of its only fair. Exactly. Yes. The dragon could literally move and crush you. Not even on purpose, just because, yeah, it could happen. We was created to kill humans. Why do humans kill us? Exactly, James. Exactly. That's the point. So I despise this kind
Usually
of
in these stories, Kaim would stand out as the only human to show her kindness. But that's not even the case. If she didn't agree to the pact, Kaim would have killed her. She has only ever been a slave. If not a slave of God, a slave of humanity, forced to sacrifice.
And this argument doesn't work because he should be dead anyway, and Kain wouldn't have killed her because he probably would die before he even came onto her. Even if he killed her, it would be a mercy because this fucker is clearly freaking suffering. What the F? Also, ain't no way this thing that big isn't omnivorous. Fuck yeah.
Sacrifice
correct.
herself for worlds that have no love for her.
Even horses eat freaking smaller cretins if they get the opportunity. Even horses. So yeah. A big fan.
Leonard fights valiantly alongside you, always kind, always willing to sacrifice himself for the good of the world. Yeah. He was a hermit, peacefully raising his brothers in the forest. Now, why was he in the forest? Partly to seek peace from the never-ending war between the Empire and the Union, but he's not free of sin. Leonard is a repressed pedophile. He chose to isolate to punish himself for his abhorrent urges, and he was successful. Until he wasn't. He isn't a rapist, and he didn't attack anybody. He went into the woods by himself to masturbate, but by the time he was back, his brothers had been killed. He couldn't even succeed at taking his own life afterwards. He seeks atonement by fighting the Empire and making a pact of his own, sacrificing his eyesight.
And yet, as the way he argues is, this is a bad person. Yes, he didn't do anything bad, and he literally went out of his way to not harm people. That's how a good person thinks, even if they have something wrong with them. But they don't act on it. That's fine. Then they are a good person.
But for someone like him, maybe that's for the better. When he eventually befriends the kind Sarah, a young boy who seeks to save his sister, Leonard can't be the person Sarah needs him to be. He knows he can't. He shouldn't get close to him. Eventually, the only redemption Leonard can find is sacrificing his own life.
And he did it.
When the elves were massacred by the Empire, they didn't finish the job, and a few survivors remained. One of them is Ariok, and in exchange for her fertility, she made a pact of her own. Before her people were slaughtered, she was a mother, living happily with her family. But the trauma of losing them was too much for her, eventually going insane, cannibalizing young children as a way to keep them safe inside of her. This is her grief-stricken way of wanting to become one with her children. After all, Is there a safer place for a child than inside her mother's womb? A mother who lost her family and is unable to give life, now resorts to taking it.
Yeah, this is a psychopath, by the way. Yeah, she did the bad things.
Family, mortality, and loss are a common denominator between the playable characters. And who better than Sarah to showcase this? He's a young boy, descendant of a clan of golem sorcerers, and as such he was born with the ability of commanding the creatures. But his childhood, as one might expect in a world like this, was far from ideal. He and his sister Mana were not treated equally, her sister being abused and brushed aside by her parents, due to her not inheriting the power to control golems. However, Sarah was overprotected and showered with affection by her mother. Amongst many other stories his mother told him, he was particularly fond of the fairy tale of the little hero, a figure of inspiration for young Sarah. This might not sound so bad for him. He may feel guilty about his mother neglecting his sister, but he himself had a life full of love and affection. And then his parents died. His mother sacrificed herself so Sarah could make a pact with the golem. The price he paid? His aging. But that can't be a bad thing for him, right? He's not cursed to never grow up. This is a sign, a confirmation that he is the little hero from fairy tale. Right? I said most of them are terrible people.
Yeah, this is a gray area for me because it's still a kid, for fuck's sake. And his parents were the fucked up ones, so it is what it is. And yes, do you mean the giant ass herbivore that probably also accidentally ate small creatures? Yeah, probably yes. And hot, yes, fair enough. James, yes, hot.
Well,
hot enough.
But I
yes.
purposefully didn't differentiate between them. It's fairly easy to agree that Sarah is a good person since he never hurt anyone and a child is not responsible for their parents' actions. But how about Leonard? Is his soul damned because of his repressed...
The thing is, I wouldn't even say that the kid is a good person. He's just a kid, he doesn't know what he's doing. So he still can learn. But I wouldn't make a judgment of good or evil. Leonard, so this guy here, he didn't harm anyone. And he actively tries to freaking protect the things that he would harm, so he doesn't harm them. So he is definitively a good person.
Desires, even though he never touched anyone? Is Aryok evil for her atrocities when she has lost her grip on reality?
Yes.
Do you think their
their
actions
last
are
one,
enough
yes.
to redeem their sins? Or are
Probably
they living
partially,
proof that the hatred God has for this world is justified? This is of course just talking about the playable characters and for the sake of time, but the rest of the supporting cast isn't that different. Furiai was so disgusted by her incestuous feelings towards her own brother that she took her own life. Inuart was willing to destroy the world to save the woman he loves, even when she doesn't love him back. And Verdelet is a coward who mostly cares about his own safety, a so-called man of faith who doesn't even know what he believes in. Every single person in this story carries their own deadly sin, or debilitating pain. The only difference between the main villain of the story and the so-called heroes is who she made a pact with. Mana is Sarah's twin sister, and as mentioned before, she was severely neglected by her parents for her lack of powers. Naturally, a child that has never known love would grow up starved for it, and would desire it over anything else. All she ever wanted was love, but her mother would never give that to her. But somebody else did. The Watchers took advantage of her need for love and filled her head with empty promises.
Yeah, that's a problem. Leonard might have slightly redeemed himself. I mean, as I said, John, I see it like this. My argument is still that he is a good person because he didn't do anything wrong. And as soon as you start to just get out of the way and do your best to not harm anyone, you are never a bad person in the first place. Because everybody has some kind of a bad urge. You just don't act on it. That's all. Or you actively do things that protects others from it.
Eventually taking control of her mind and body. Mana would be the emissary of the Watchers and the High Priestess of the Cult of the Watchers. She would personally break Inuart and turn him into a tool for the Empire, and seems to lack any sort of empathy or regret. She gleefully dances and laughs after Furiai takes her own life. The only people Mana seems to care about are the Watchers. After all, they're the only ones who ever showed her any kind of love. But how much of it is her fault? Is it the fault of a 6-year-old to be manipulated in this way? It's not clear how much of her actions are her own.
It's not her fault, but you still have to end the threat. Because she will off you. That's irrelevant if it's her fault or not. You have to end the threat.
Own will. And when the influence of the Watchers goes away, she seems to feel some regret for what she's done. But can she ever atone for what she did? Or is she a blameless victim?
Nah, she's fucked. I mean, if she's a kid, you can still
care.
Make her a good person, so it is.
The journey through Midgard is not exactly fun in games either. But not just because of some narrative choice or character actions. But simply put, this game is not very fun to play. Drakengard was initially ambitioned as an aerial combat game, similar to titles like Ace Combat or Panzer Dragoon. Later on, thanks to the success of Dynasty Warriors, ground battles were implemented. And it really shows. The sky battles are by far the most polished part of the game. The dragon is intuitive and fun to maneuver. And chaining fireballs together to eventually climax on a massive special attack is really fun. Even gimmick enemies like the Spectres, which you need to wait for an opening to attack, are a decent change of pace to keep combat interesting. It's a bit of a struggle to get enemies on your line of sight, but that's part of the fun. Eventually the dragon will evolve, and its final form is an absolute unit, capable of wiping out dozens of enemies in seconds. Meaning the aerial combat also has the best sense of progression in the game.
Yep, it has. True.
But that's only one of the mission types in the game. Missions are called verses, and verses are grouped into chapters. Most chapters have at most 1 or 2 aerial missions, and the rest of them are ground combat or event missions. Let's talk about the ground combat. Actually, the combat in this game is so bare bones that I'm confident.
Yeah, the ground combat is shit. The ground combat is the worst part on the entire thing. I always was actually going for the air combat at any time. It's just the ground combat is nothing. The air combat is freaking good.
And I can explain it fully in 30 seconds or less. In ground combat, you run around with the objective of either getting to a place or killing specific enemies. There's a variety of weapons that each work slightly differently, mostly varying in speed, range, and damage. You have 2 attacks, normal and magic. Magic requires at least one of your magic bars to be filled, and each weapon has a special attack. Combos are severely limited. Basically, you just decide if you want to end your chain earlier with a stronger attack or not. These attacks won't use magic. If Kaim is sprinting, he can also do a sprinting attack. He can also dodge and block, and that's it. Oh, and you can mount the dragon to rain fire from above. 27 seconds, not bad. Some enemies may have shields that you can use magic or stronger attacks to break their defenses, and some of them are resistant to magic, shooting back at you when you try to use it. So in missions with many of these enemies, you basically can't use the dragon. But that's about it in terms of variety. So in summary, ground missions are just use your dragon to wipe out all the fodder enemies until you're forced to go on foot to deal with those special boys, or missions where you just can't use the dragon, or just ignore the enemies altogether because you just need to get somewhere. But as you can imagine, this gets old really quick.
Yeah, it does.
Sure, you get stronger throughout the game, and you can try out new weapons, even though most of them suck. You can get most of the endings by just using Kaim's sword without much trouble, though I'd recommend using this one the second you get it. But combat stays the same. The newer enemies they introduce to spice things up are more annoying than challenging, just taking a bit longer to kill, or spamming attacks that devour your health bar. But even then, the game isn't very hard. Aside from 1 or 2 missions, I was just autopiloting through all this, which in turn sort of limited how personally invested I could get in the story, which I suppose is fitting for a game where you play as a psychopath.
A monster in a hell of his own doing. Fair enough.
How
Fair enough,
painful
I
do you
say.
want this to be? The least violent end to the story is the very first ending, where the dragon reveals her name to Kaim, solidifying their bond, and she chooses to sacrifice herself to become the new seal. In one hand, this is just another victim of this world, forced to sacrifice herself to protect a world full of hate. But on the other hand, you could see that as Angelus taking back her own agency and defying her creator, choosing instead to save the humans that hate her, in hopes that this world becomes a better place. But even then, Kaim's sister Furia is dead, and Inuart is bound to the same black dragon that killed her parents. So even if the world is safe for now, it's just a temporary solution, and the seal could be broken again in the future. And Kaim is as lonely as ever.
Yeah, but it's the best ending.
But this can't be the true end, right? There has to be a way that things end up okay, right? After all, there are 5 whole endings, 5 opportunities to save everyone. Right?
Yeah. Nope.
Inuart seems to think so. In ending B, we follow him after he leaves with Furia's body. He plans on using this...
Exactly, the struggle against evil is the point. But, you know, the dragon was the coolest thing in the game, so, you know. And the other endings are just way worse.
Seeds of resurrection to bring her lover back to life, but the seeds of resurrection are a fairy tale. What they are is the seeds of destruction. And refusing to listen to reason, he places Furia's body inside a seed, bringing her back to life as a soulless, grotesque abomination. The goddess meant to protect this world is now a servant of the god who wants to end it. Inuart is killed by this angelic creature that resembles the woman he loves, and Kaim is forced to watch his sister die by his hand. But at least, the world is saved. Right?
Flows of the broken spirit, yep.
Inuart won't listen to reason, so Kaim is forced to strike him down. He dies besides the one he loves. We face Mana, who seems to know her time is short, so she desperately summons a dragon who ends up devouring her. We won? We won? No. Now transformed into the Chaos Dragon, Angelus reveals that she and her brothers are revolting against mankind. Whatever Angelus feels is irrelevant, for she and Kaim are fated to fight to the death. But Kaim emerges victorious, regaining his voice and his soul. Angelus recognizes his strength before dying by his hand. Kaim has won, and Mana is dead. But the dragons are out there, and Kaim has no choice but to go on his own and fight them. But he will die trying.
Yep. Every ending where the dragon dies is the bad ending, no matter what. Because the dragon was the coolest fucking thing on the entire thing. I mean, technically, this is the best, and no, the seal ending was the best one because the struggle, because at least you got some time out of it. You know, it's Dragon God. What the hell? You know, there's just no good ending. And Dragon Guard is a very long
We can stop this from happening. We can save everybody if we go back, back to the Ocean Fortress. Maybe there's a way to stop this from happening. Sarah tries to reason with his sister Mana, so she'll leave the Cult of the Watchers. Failing to persuade her or see any other options, he orders the golem to kill her. But her death not only unleashes the grotesqueries anyways, but also a far bigger threat. Unlike anything this world had seen in a century. The Queen Beast is released, the Queen of the Watchers with the power of summoning an army at will. The world is overrun. Leonard and Aryok lose their lives to give Sarah a chance to escape. Kaim takes him away, but Sarah refuses to leave. After all, he is the little hero. He has the power of time at his disposal. Sacrificing his power and his pact, he traps himself and the Queen Beast within frozen time. Not before Kaim and Angelus are devoured by the grotesqueries. The Imperial capital is engulfed by Sarah's power, frozen in that moment, forever. We may not be able to win this fight. But if it never ends, they won't win either. So it came at a high price. But at least the world is safe.
I forgot that ending. But you still lose the dragon, so... it's fucked up. Damn!
Is this really it? Have I done all of this to at best having everybody die and at worst having the world end? What's the point of multiple endings anyway if with every action I take all I bring is pain? Is there really no way to save these people? Are you telling me that the best thing for the world is for all of them to die? Or that Midgard was always doomed and my actions and struggles were for nothing? How about all the people I killed? How far I traveled? The friends I buried? Is that all just fated to end like this?
Don't bitch about it.
Nobody's asking you to do this. You don't have to kill non-target enemies. You don't have to do side missions or get all the endings. You're choosing to do this. Your pain is your own fault. But that didn't stop me from trying. I refuse to accept this ending. And I know I have one more chance to make things right. One more chance to save everyone. Because this game told me, I know that one ending remains. And it's a bitch to get. How do I get ending E, you might ask? Well, it's really simple, really. Firstly, you have to complete all the other missions in the game. Sensible enough, okay. And then, you know those other weapons I mentioned before? Throughout your quest, you probably collected a few of them. 10, 13. You just need to go back and get the ones you missed. How many weapons are there in total? 65. Again, you don't have to. You can stop playing. There's nobody forcing you to go out of your way to kill even more people and collect all those weapons. You can just stop and accept that this is how the story ends. But I didn't. I spent days of my limited time on this earth sluggishly replaying through this dull gameplay and empty locations, fulfilling arbitrary and vague requirements to get each and every weapon. Sometimes it's enough to finish within a time limit. Sometimes you just got to find a treasure chest. Sometimes you need to follow a very specific path in a maze to then fight a room full of magic-resistant enemies. Sometimes you need to just wait for 40 minutes for the chest to appear. And sometimes you have to kill every single magic-resistant enemy on the map within 6 minutes.
Yep, the 6 minutes thing was a bitch too. Oh no, I remember, yeah, I got every ending, including the boy one. It just irrelevant. Mr. Bubble is an angel. Yep, he is.
But I
Mr. Bubbles is an angel.
did it. And I will get the last elusive ending of Drakengard. So what does ending E have in store for you? Is this how we save everyone?
No, by the way. No, just a little spoil. The answer for a monster. But one of the hardest boss fights in game history, by the way.
Sarah shouldn't fight the Queen Beast. He's a child. This is my responsibility. Kaim and Angelus fight the Queen Beast head on, and...
Yep, and it starts the storyline of Nier Automata. Yes, those two games are actually connected to each other. And this is exactly the moment where they are connected.
Is this the land of the gods?
I'm home. After promising Sarah to see him again, Kaim and Angelus follow the Queen Beast through a mysterious portal.
What can we do?
They may not know where they are, but we do. Even if you're not Japanese, you can easily recognize the real-world architecture and make the connection yourself. But just think about this for a second. RPGs like Drakengard tended to be made with the Japanese public in mind, and the sales usually reflected this. Of the 440,000 units Drakengard sold, 240 were in Japan, well over half the total sales. Which means that a significant amount of the people playing were not just seeing the real world in their screens. It was the capital of their own country. Or maybe even the very city they lived on. Not feudal Japan or a cyberpunk future. But when the game released in 2003, this was modern-day Japan. A regular day in Tokyo is when a flash in the sky brings forth two extra-dimensional creatures.
Yep.
The dragon and the statue. The Queen Beast rises, and instead of attacking, she begins to sing. This is the power of song that the Queen uses to summon her grotesqueries. She's trying to summon her army, and she may be able to do that. The dragons are angels too, so Kaim and Angelus engage in a battle of... song. They need to sing perfectly in sync to counter the effects of the Queen, otherwise this world will be doomed as well. And this is not a simple song, but a complex, abstract melody that erratically changes in tone, frequency, and speed.
Yep, the last one. The fucking last one.
But through some miracle, they manage to defeat the Queen, who crumbles to dust, saving this world from the attacks of the Watchers. But we did it? Did we finally manage to save the...
It is done.
Spoilers. Yep.
Did you really think that something like this could go unnoticed?
The true best end. Yep.
This is
Fair
Bravo
enough.
1. Unidentified target has been neutralized. Over and out.
Yep.
Two kaijus appearing out of nothing like this would...
Yeah, the thing is, this game just F's you over story-wise. There isn't anything to do. It's basically what I disliked about it was that it ran on shock value. That's all. It was every ending was on shock value. Clearly, Merrick, yeah.
probably be a cause for concern, and the dragon was trying to help, sure, but they don't know that. It's not like Angelus came equipped with a...
Yeah. I mean, for FSEC, you see two gigantic beasts that actually fight with each other. The first thing you would do is contact them. But it is what it is.
Radio to let the army know she's a good
It's
dragon.
ununderstandable.
So yes, they shot them out of the sky and they fall to their deaths.
Yep.
The dragon's body impaled on top of Tokyo Tower. And Kaim was never found. He's most likely dead. Even if he did survive the missile, could he survive a fall like that? Who's to say? But even if they both died, their friends are safe, right? Maybe, but the seal is still broken, so God can continue his assault, and now Midgard doesn't have its strongest warriors. But at least we managed to save this world from utter destruction. After all, Watchers can't get here, so everything should be just fine. So the final ending, the hardest ending to get, with the toughest nails final boss, is what amounts to a practical joke, no different from the dog ending in Silent Hill. Why? Why disrespect me like this? I did everything in my power to save my friends, and this is what I got? Why can't I get a happy ending? Because you don't deserve one. Look at yourself. How many lives you've taken? Human beings you slaughtered while complaining that it was boring? Then when you don't like how things go, your solution is to go and kill more people? Are you kidding me? No. You don't get a...
This argument, it's war for fuck's sake. Either they kill you or you kill them. It is what it is. Otherwise, America and Japan is going to invade Midgard. Yep. And by the way, did you see how easy they actually dispatched the dragon? Like, the summoning of the fuckers would be nothing for the modern world. They would slaughter them like nothing.
Happy ending. You're not capable of having a happy ending because this game makes you a horrible person.
It wasn't even
because
a danger.
Drakengard, plain and simple, hates you.
Yeah, the video is good, by the way. I disagree with a lot of things, but nonetheless, Doggone, good video. Really good one. I like it. Smoked. Max level dragon. Exactly, max level dragon. Such a stupid argument. Yeah, it is. It is. I personally just see it way differently. I don't know if he does it for sure or if he truly argues this way, but I can disagree and still like something. And it's better to go against your arguments to actually practice a bit with your arguments, how you would argue or how you see things, than always try to go against things you agree with. So, you know. But James, the last one. All reactions to Ein's true power in Overlord explained in detail. Ah, yes. Yes, please. Please.
Jerkniv Rune Farlord El Nix. When Emperor Jerkniv first heard about Ainzul Gon, he didn't see him as a threat right away.
Hell yeah.
At the beginning, he believed Ainzul...
By the way, I loved his reaction. It was pragmatic. It was just pragmatic.
...could be useful to the Baharuth Empire. Maybe even turn him into his pawn. That arrogance made him confident he could manipulate Ainz and order him around.
Yes.
Little did he know, it would turn out the other way around. Jerkniv manipulated Count Femel into hiring worker groups to explore the tomb in the Riestes kingdom. The idea was to send in 5 work teams to test Ainz's character and stir up trouble between him and the kingdom. If all went well, Jerkniv thought he could bring Ainz closer to the Empire, but things went in a direction he didn't expect. Aura and Mari suddenly appeared at his castle, wiping out his elite knights, including one of the 4 Imperial Knights. In an instant, his courtyard full of warriors vanished without a trace. Zherknev was stunned as he realized Ainz had traced everything back and learned he was the mastermind pulling the strings. From that moment, Zherknev's attitude changed. He tried to convince himself that if a direct fight was impossible, then he would need to rely on words and politics instead. That caution soon became fear when he learned that Ainz was an undead. His prejudice against the undead made him see Ainz as the ultimate threat to humanity. When he saw Ainz casually create a Death Knight in front of him, Zherknev understood that there was no way to control someone with that level of power.
Not just control, he had not a freaking a snowball in hell chance to actually do something. I miss a potential game franchise that got ended far too soon. Which one? The Overlord game has so much fun potential. Okay. I didn't play them, by the way. I didn't play the Overlord games. None of them. Just watch the shows.
Power.
This
realization drove him into paranoia.
If you say it's fine,
he started planning for scenarios that were almost impossible, such as preparing wealth, prestige, and even companions to make the Empire seem more appealing to Nazarick. He believed that the conflict with Ainz was no longer about nations, but about the survival of humanity itself. The breaking point came during the big event at Katsay Plains. Zherknev never imagined a single spell could wipe out 200,000 soldiers. The Imperial Knights pleaded with him to avoid any conflict with the Sorcerer Kingdom, and the stress began destroying his body. He lost sleep, developed ulcers, and his hair started falling out. He often felt like he was being watched, without realizing that Ainz really was spying on him with scrying magic. To protect himself, Zherknev began speaking in codes with his servants and limiting the flow of information, even cutting off trusted people like Fluter and Leoness. He eventually arranged a secret meeting with the slain Theocracy in the Grand Arena, guarded by the Adamantite adventurer group Silver Thread Bird. He was horrified when Ainz himself appeared as the challenger to the Martial Lord Go Jin. When the Martial Lord lost, all his last hopes are gone. With no other way, Zherknev begged Ainz to make the Baharuth Empire a vassal state. Ironically, this ended up easing Zherknev's emotional baggage. Once the vacillation was complete, Zherknev's life improved. The ulcer stopped.
Thank you, John. I'm gonna look them up. Yeah, I mean, James, I knew there are games, but they didn't look interesting to me. Or I knew there was a game. But now that I hear there are more of them, well, maybe there is one that I quite like.
His hair stopped falling out. The potions in his drawer were replaced with orderly stacks of documents. For the first time in years, he felt refreshed, even liberated. He smiled so often that his concubine pointed it out. One could say that Zherknev has been living better. In Volume 13, Intermission, when he received a ridiculous report claiming Ainz was dead, Zherknev laughed out loud. Basically, Zherknev was convinced Ainz could not be killed. Nimble Arkdale Enoch, known as the Violent Gale, is one of the 4 Imperial Knights and among the strongest warriors of the Baharuth Empire. When they met at the encampment before the battle against the Riestes Kingdom, Nimble showed respect to Ainz. Nimble also understood the real purpose of the war at Katsay Plains. The Empire's goal was to strengthen relations with the Sorcerer King. The plan was to seize Irantel at any cost in lives and then hand it over freely to Ainz. At the same time, they wanted to learn more about Ainz's strength. When Ainz unleashed the super tier spell Yashub Nagarath, the Dark Young appeared and began slaughtering the royal army. Nimble saw Ainz's true nature in that moment. To him, the Sorcerer King was no longer just an ally or a powerful mage, but a monster. The sheer destruction left Nimble shaken. He saw tens of thousands of soldiers erased in an instant, and what disturbed him most was Ainz's coldness.
And it was
there was no sign
awesome.
of joy or remorse, nothing human at all. Nimble, one of the mightiest knights of the Empire, could only grind his teeth in terror as he stared at the battlefield where the kingdom's army had been wiped away. And it wasn't just Nimble. Every soldier of the Baharuth Empire present understood the same thing. Ainz Gon alone had the power to erase nations as easily as a child kicking down a sandcastle. If they ever raised their weapons against him, they knew that same awful magic could just as easily be used on their own people.
Yeah, I mean, for F's sake. It's just because Overlord is a very interesting study case in what would happen if a overpowered being comes in a not so overpowered world. And, well, a lot of death.
The Imperial Knights doubted their eyes, even as they prayed to whatever gods they believed in. Although they're enemies, they can only pray that the people of the kingdom are still alive. They prayed that such terrible magic did not exist in this world. They wished that Ainz's wrath would not fall upon them. Nimble ultimately approached Ainz to offer congratulations. He was trembling, convinced he was standing in front of something closer to a devil than a man. He and many others in the army wanted to flee, yet none of them did. They were basically held back by shock, even awe, at the god-tier power displayed before their eyes. Go Jin. Go Jin is the 8th generation martial lord of the Baharuth Empire.
He was actually
Before
quite
stepping into the ring to face Ainz, he already felt a deep sense of fear.
I liked it.
He instinctively
It
knew
was a
his
nice short
chances
thing.
of winning were slim, yet he chose to go through with the duel anyway. As a warrior, Go Jin wanted to test his limits and see Ainz's power with his own eyes. From the very beginning, he showed Ainz respect, recognizing his strength and treating the fight as an honor. If Ainz won, Go Jin would become his servant. But if Go Jin somehow won, he would claim Ainz as his prey and gain his power by devouring him. Knowing how unlikely that outcome was, Go Jin still fought bravely, pushing himself as far as he could go. Even after realizing there was no way to turn the tide, he continued out of pride and determination. He asked the Sorcerer King to finish him with a display of true power, and Ainz granted that request. Defeated, Go Jin honored his word and became a servant of the Sorcerer Kingdom. Fluter Paradigm. Fluter is the Imperial Court Wizard of the Baharuth Empire and was known as the strongest wizard in the New World. His power is said to rival Rigrit and the other magic casters of the 13 heroes. When he first heard about Ainz, Fluter guessed that Ainz might be able to use magic equal to or even greater than his own. This thrilled him, since in the last 200 years, he hadn't seen a truly powerful arcane magic caster, not since Rigrit. But then, Fluter...
And I'm gonna be honest, the realization here was pretty humble. I actually quite liked it. It was, I mean humble, it was like a more of a, yeah, this is like exciting, yeah, nice. It's just something that he wanted to push away. I found it nice.
Already believed he had reached the absolute limit of what a human could achieve with magic. His natural talent was the ability to see the aura of arcane casters, which revealed the tier of spells they could use. When he finally met Ainz in the form of Momon, alongside Nabe, he saw this ability firsthand once they removed their rings that concealed their power. Fluter was shocked by Nabe's aura, curling into a ball in fear. But Ainz's power was on another level. The moment Fluter witnessed it, it was as if the entire world was drowned in light. His consciousness nearly slipped away, and all he could do was kneel before Ainz in tears. Right then, he begged Ainz to teach him, saying he would give up everything just to glimpse the abyss of magic. From that point on, Fluter became Ainz's loyal disciple. He helped with Nazarique's plans, acted as an informant, and even betrayed Emperor Jerknev and the Baharuth Empire. King Ramposa III. At first, he felt indebted to Ainz after hearing Gazeth's report about how the mysterious magic caster saved both his life and the villagers of Karne. The breaking point came after the tragic event at the Kats Plains. Gazeth's death at the hands of Ainz devastated the king. He refused to accept Gazeth's final wish of not being resurrected, and from that moment, he seemed to wither away. His once strong presence diminished into that of a lifeless man who had lost both motivation and purpose. After losing Gazeth and Prince Barbaro, and witnessing the devastation caused by Ainz's Yashub Nagarath, King Ramposa's only thought was to negotiate with the Sorcerer Kingdom, hoping to spare as many lives as possible. When Albedo...
Yeah, and by the way, this was a very, very wholesome way of actually doing it. I mean, he acted out of grief and then just acted as a king afterwards. Because at the end of the day, you know, like, it's understandable because he's a human, but also what the fuck, you know? You still have a kingdom under you and one man falling just isn't worth it.
Arrived in the capital to confront the kingdom after Philip's reckless attack on the Sorcerer Kingdom transport. Ramposa's decline became even more obvious. In a desperate attempt to prevent all-out war, he tried to take responsibility by offering his own life, but his plea was ignored, and Albedo formally declared war. Prince Zanak, real name Zanak Valion Igana Ryle Vyself, is the second prince of the Riestes Kingdom. He inherited leadership during one of the darkest times in the kingdom's history.
This was actually quite a good, like, not a good guy, but he was the nicest person in the entire Ontrovla of those fuckers that you could have. And it's just, after he died, it was just, it was a shame. It was a shame.
Now Ainz pushed his nation to the brink of collapse. Zanuck often wished that Ainz had never appeared in the New World. When King Ramposa sank into depression, Zanuck shouldered the responsibilities of the throne. Although he understood his father's despair, he knew that diplomacy alone could no longer save their people. Meeting the Sorcerer King face to face changed his perspective. Despite Ainz's terrifying presence as an undead, Zanuck realized he was more complex than expected. Ainz acted not out of blind malice, but from a pursuit of happiness for himself and his subjects, even if that happiness came at the expense of others. To Zanuck, this made him disturbingly human. During their short conversation, a strange sense of mutual respect formed. Both rulers shared a commitment to their people. After Zanuck's appeal, Ainz promised to grant Zanuck and his people a painless death. For Ainz, their meeting had been unexpectedly pleasant. That mood was destroyed when traitorous nobles presented Ainz with Zanuck's severed head as a peace offering. Instead of appeasing him, their betrayal filled Ainz with rage. Riesti's kingdom nobles. When they first heard about Ainz through Gazef recounting how a mysterious sorcerer had saved him and the Karn village, many in the kingdom dismissed Ainz as a problematic individual. To them, he seemed like a defiant figure who refused to show his face, a magic caster with an odd name, or even someone who staged the attack simply to advertise himself. After the conversation with Ainz, Zanuck informed his subordinates that Ainz's plan to obliterate them all was non-negotiable.
Yeah, by the way, still, it was epic after they realized it, because this was like a freaking gang of boomers that just realized, oh, maybe we are effed. Maybe we cannot do anything we want. And happy holidays to you in the future, and labadida. I am doing particularly well. Well, this week was a bit, hard for me, a lot of work, but otherwise the stream goes good, the channel goes good, and I hope that people are having fun. Nonetheless, last video. After that, I'm done for today. I'm already at, how long am I? For F's sake, acolytes. 2 hours 50. I am breaking the time records of mine week by week. It's going longer and longer, for exceptions, of course.
No matter what was said, nothing would sway him. As Zanuck coordinated with the Minister of Military Affairs on their next steps, he was suddenly ambushed by mercenaries and nobles who intended to take his life as an offering to Ainz. Rather than surrender, Zanuck drew his sword and dared them to take it by force. He was slain in the struggle, and his head was delivered to Ainz as a gift of loyalty. Naturally, Ainz was disgusted. He ordered Albedo to see that the fallen prince was given a proper burial. He then commanded that the mercenaries, the nobles, and even their families be handed over to Nuranist Painkill. The collapse of the nation was also tied to the choices of its other nobles. Marquise Raven, once considered a loyal patriot, withdrew after the big event at Cott's Plains. Though he had supported the kingdom in its political struggles, the devastation he witnessed broke him. During the tragedy, Raven and his group of formerly Orichalcum-ranked adventurers encountered one of the Dark Youngs. His companions were slaughtered instantly, but the Dark Young froze before it even crushed Raven, allowing him to escape. Weighed down by the loss of his retainers and the strategist he valued most, Raven returned to his territory deeply traumatized. By the time war resumed, Raven had shifted his loyalty. Using his influence and resources, he deliberately withheld information from the capital, enabling the Sorcerer Kingdom to isolate Riestes and block off any outside aid. Riestes' kingdom army...
Not the Riestes army. That's a stretch, but hey, yeah, after they realized that it was too late. I don't think that him upholding resources or information would have changed anything. Ainz would just slaughter everyone.
In the battle at Cott's Plains, the left wing of the kingdom's army numbered 70,000 men. When Ainz unleashed Yashub Nigarath, every single one of them was wiped out in an instant. Soldiers and horses alike collapsed as though their strings had been cut, their lives extinguished before they could even comprehend what had happened.
It was fucking
awesome,
moment, by the way.
The battlefield was silent. The human mind needed time to register such horror. And after that brief delay, cries of panic broke out. Aside from the unsettling bleeding of the Dark Young, so nauseatingly sweet it made onlookers feel sick, no other sound carried through the air. Before the eyes of over 300,000 people, or 235,000 if one counted only the living, a nightmare had taken form. Naturally, the infantry doesn't want to believe their eyes. If the enemy had been ordinary monsters, perhaps the soldiers might have raised their weapons in desperation. Although the noble had already gone mad with fear, and his words were hard to understand, the soldiers still caught the order, spears up. And in this situation, they knew it was probably the best command he could have given. But given the unnatural speed of the Dark Youngs, the soldiers knew escape was impossible. Gazif Stronov. Gazif first saw Ainz as a friend of the kingdom. After all, Ainz had saved Karn village, and even saved Gazif's own life from Nigun and the Sunlight Scripture, who also witnessed a part of Ainz's true power. From that moment on, Gazif respected Ainz deeply, and admitted that he was far stronger than he could ever be. When he reported the incident to King Ramposa, Gazif left out his suspicions about the Slain Theocracy's involvement. Instead, he described it as a heroic tale, with Ainz stepping in without hesitation to save innocent lives, throwing himself into danger with no regard for the cost. But even as he respected Ainz, Gazif also...
And by the way, this guy was so noble. He was such a freaking noble... It's just a shame that he died.
...feared him. Before the great battle at Kot's Plains, Gazif defended Ainz in front of the nobles. While they suggested capturing him, Gazif believed it was foolish to make an enemy out of a magic caster who's definitely much stronger than Fluter, the Empire's greatest magic user. When Ainz summoned the Dark Young, Gazif tried to gauge their power with a martial art called Sense Weakness, but it was useless. Either they had no weakness, or they were so overwhelmingly strong that he couldn't read them at all. He then used another martial art, Possibility Sense, to heighten his instincts. But even then, he felt that gap in strength was so massive that even if he closed a mile-wide distance by an inch, it would make no difference. Surrounded by death, Gazif wanted to run. The fear he felt was unlike anything he had ever experienced, yet he refused to turn back. Even after witnessing Ainz's overwhelming power, Gazif refused to become his subordinate, even though doing so might have stopped the Dark Youngs from attacking. In the end, Gazif chose death. Despite knowing his chances of victory were almost zero, he still challenged Ainz to a duel. He faced Ainz with respect and calm composure, almost like greeting an old friend, even while his countrymen were being slaughtered around him. He even let Ainz examine his sword, trusting that the Sorcerer King was powerful but not the kind to steal like a thief. When Ainz asked if he could keep the weapon after the duel, Gazif simply smiled, politely refused, and even thanked him for understanding. Brain Unglaus. Brain was also present at the tragedy on Kot's Plains, alongside Climb and Gazif. He witnessed the Dark Young tearing through the army, and just like Gazif, he felt overwhelming fear, maybe even more so. Even though they didn't run when one of the Dark Young drew close, Brain and Climb weren't harmed. When Brain finally stood before Ainz, he radiated a strong fighting spirit and took his stance. In fact, Gazif was surprised at Brain's facial expression, which was casual and easy, and did not suit the circumstances. But Ainz only gave him a disinterested glance. When Gazif declared his challenge, Brain tried to stop him. He wanted to stand by his friend's side and die with him. He even begged Ainz for the chance to face him together with Gazif, admitting it was a shameless request, but one made from the heart. He had long since resolved to die beside Gazif at the hands of Ainz, but Gazif insisted on fighting alone, leaving Brain to bear witness. He then watched as Gazif was instantly knocked out by Ainz's delayed true death. With nothing left to do, Brain took responsibility for carrying his friend's body. Climb first heard about Ainz from Gazif. Seeing Ainz's power up close and realizing he was undead, left Climb convinced that the Sorcerer King might be the most powerful being in existence. During the war, Climb and Brain saw the Dark Youngs rampaging across the battlefield. Both of them even agreed to serve as bait so King Ramposa could escape. Climb and Brain later met Gazif and came face to face with Ainz for the first time. The sight alone terrified Climb. In the end, he and Brain could only stand as witnesses to Gazif's final duel. As the kingdom's situation worsened, Climb began to blame Ainz for everything. Before the fall of the kingdom, Climb was ordered to hide some items, keeping them out of the Sorcerer Kingdom's hands. But when he returned, he found King Ramposa lying dead. Rainier had basically assassinated the king herself. Climb was naturally angry, thinking that Rainier had been mind-controlled. The moment he was free from Demiurge's control, he grabbed Razor Edge and charged straight at Ainz. Climb remembered Ainz saying that the Razor Edge could potentially defeat him. Climb activated his martial arts and thrust the sword towards the red orb in Ainz's stomach, an actual world item, through a series of movements, thinking it was his weak spot. Naturally, he's far from right. In the end, Ainz crushed all his HP with Grasp Heart. When he opened his eyes again, Climb found himself alive in a room with Rainier. He swore loyalty to Ainz, but it's clear he only did so because it meant he could stay with the Yandere princess. Princess Rainier. Rainier's transformation into a demonic imp came as part of her deal with Nazarick. By pledging herself to the Sorcerer King, she secured Climbs' resurrection through Pestonia and gained a new life alongside him on the 9th floor, where the two would live happily ever after.
Yep.
Big emphasis on forever. Her devotion to Ainz shaped by both the influence of Nazaric's NPCs and her own inability to fully predict his actions. What unsettles her most is not his true strength, but his ability to plan every move with precision. Initially, Rainier considered concealing her true abilities upon joining the Sorcerer Kingdom. But once she realized she had caught Ainz and the NPC's attention, she felt obligated to prove her value. In time, she even came to address him with the same reverence as the NPCs, calling him a supreme being. Her loyalty went so far that she once apologized to Albedo for involving Ainz in the preparation of what happened in the throne room. Nigun Grid Luin and the Sunlight Scripture.
Yeah.
Nigun Grid Luin served as the captain of the Sunlight Scripture, one of the Slain Theocracy's elite units. He was entrusted with the mission of assassinating Gazev Stronov near Karn village. However, the plan was stopped with an unexpected arrival of Ainz. Clinging to his position as commander of the Theocracy's most secretive weapon, Nigun was furious at the interference, but initially dismissed Ainz.
Now, anime simply explained. I'm gonna sub to the channel. But acolytes, I'm done for today. I just cannot continue. It's just a bit too much for an old Lich like me. And the video was also a bit too... I mean, it was... but it is a 3-parter. 1 part would be nice, but all 3... But nonetheless, anime simply explained. Good channel, good thing. I'm gonna watch it more often. And support those. Support every single creator I reacted to today. But as it is, acolytes, good night. Yes, a very old man. A very, very old man.